against a team like Limestone. Let's just get away from that.
All right, we'll get back to starting this game in 1 minute. Stay with us.
Blue says, are you ready for homecoming 2024? Limestone Saints fans, are you ready? Either way, we got to get this thing started.
Just one final. Win day one.
Wow.
There you go.
Check. Check. Check 1, 2. Check. Check.
Final.
Check. Check.
Not just Wayne Merritt, not just Derek Howard. We're just Chad Brooks and back up Connor Arlington. We're 10 seconds away from kickoff. Homecoming 2024. Newberry versus Limestone. Let's do this.
Well, as we mentioned when we were giving the starting lineups, we're not sure that some of the Limestone information we have is accurate, and here's the first example of that. Number 14 is about to kick off, and he is not on the Limestone roster that we have. Actually, he is. I take that back. Daniel Deneen. We assume that is correct. He will kick off to Newberry, right to left. Cross spells on the near side for the Wolves, and on the far side it's Jonah Norris. As we are set to go here from Setzer Field on homecoming. Here's the kick coming toward Quez. Spells going to haul it in at the 1, 5, 10. Spells 15, 20. Trip up from behind out across the 20 at about the 23-yard line, and that is where the Wolves will start. 1st and 10. Matt Howard down to make the stop for the Saints.
Well, you want to provide a start to momentum right here. Take this opening kickoff, march down the field, right? Use the assets you've got and try to score. Get on top of these guys early. You want to keep them out of this game as much as possible.
Wide to the left for the Wolves will be Ja'Cory Martin, and Keith Dessishore toward the near side is Rico Dorsey. So those are your 3 wide receivers. Sharpier with Dwayne Wright to his right. Tommy moves to the left as the tight end. Here's the handoff to Dwayne Wright. Reverse. Dessishore comes to the near side and is going to be tripped up for a loss. Back at the 21-yard line. I'm sorry, the 20-yard line, a loss of 3. Harrison Jeffries, and Jeremiah Lomax on the stop for the Saints.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you want to do on the defensive side of the ball. Those guys stayed home right here on the left side. Saw the reverse coming this way. For a second, I thought Keith was maybe going to throw it downfield. Would have been maybe better if he had.
Here's a throw to Dessishore. He caught the ball, but he hit immediately just a yard above where the original line of scrimmage was. Miles Walker, the corner, was up to hold that to a gain, and it's only a 1-yard advantage from the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 9 now for the Wolves at their own 24-yard line.
Yeah, the key to that play was that Sharpie put a little bit of a zip on there. If he was a little bit slower with that pass, that could have been a pick going the other way.
Absolutely correct. 2 receivers stacked to the right, 1 to the left. Motion by Martin. Sharpie back to throw, chased out, fires up the middle, and it is knocked away at the last minute, intended for Rico Dorsey. Matt Howard right in there with the arm to knock it away. That was close.
Very close. He had to time it. That was just a timing play. He saw it close up from behind, got the arm around, and like you said, who knows, he could have made a little bit of contact, but it was too close and no flag.
Yeah, seconds sooner they might have thrown that flag, but that was beautifully played by the defender. And on 4th down, Newberry will punt away. Here's a beautiful tight spiral, driving the receiver all the way back inside the 30, and he goes down, partially because of his own man. Down there for Newberry was Jalen Stratford, and on the return for Limestone was Josh Chandapo, and he went nowhere. That'll be put at the 25-yard line.
Well, like you mentioned there, Stratford had a man all over him blocking him, but he had the full head of steam, so he wasn't going to be stopped. And that ball came right to the receiver, right on line where Stratford was running, and there was no chance for him to get away.
1st and 10 for the Saints from their own 25. Their first possession of the afternoon after Newberry goes 3 and out. Here's the snap. Handoff. Straight ahead. Bouncing off one tackle is Leyland. And now Newberry takes it away. Newberry takes it away inside the 30-yard line. Let's see what they call here.
I think they're going to call him down.
Oh, my goodness.
He hit Chucky came up and laid a hit on him, but he rolled. He did like a 360 off of Chucky, then got hit, and apparently as he was going down, they must have said the knee touched.
Wow, that could have been a big takeaway for the Wolves. 2nd down 6. Snap back, flags are down. Here's the throw. That one is incomplete and out of bounds.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a free play, too.
I think we were off.
Yeah, Kobe Taylor jumped on the right side of the defensive line.
That will not give him a first down, but it'll get him to 2nd and 1 if that's the case.
Defense, number 11.
Yep.
5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Didn't see that part, but you were right, Al. Kobe Taylor jumping in there. So 2nd and 1 now for the Saints. Football up at the 34-yard line. So 2 big plays there. If you look at it from a Newberry perspective, it could have gone the other way. Moeller awaits the snap, hands it off again. Newberry on the chase, and boy, they just dive on Leyland. What a hit there. That was some hit, a legal one at that. Elijah Vereen on the hit along with Newberry's Chucky Roach.
Yeah, they're coming out hitting hard right now. So I'm kind of amazed the helmet didn't fly off right there.
They did pick up the first down at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, he paid for that one, though.
2 men to the right. H-back set to the right. Now Leyland moves to the left as a running back. They give it to him again, and he's coming up the middle. Newberry's going to put the stop on that at the 39-yard line. Tanner Funderburk, first man in there. So that's a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down 7. 12 minutes to go, first quarter, no score. Newberry had the ball, had to go 3 and out. This is Limestone's first possession, but they have picked up a first down in the process. They're out at their own 39-yard line. Handoff again, straight ahead. And Leyland will be stopped at about the 41, maybe the 42. Tanner Funderburk again in there on the stop. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 4. Actually closer to 3rd and 4.
Yeah, kind of interesting here. Other than the one pass play attempt there, just hammering it right through the middle with the running back so far.
Moeller, the quarterback, awaits the snap. The 6'1", 205-pound graduate. Man out to the near side, we believe, is Robinson. Now they move Leyland to the left of Moeller. 2 receivers stacked to the right. One of those comes in motion. Moeller being chased, now dumps it off, and it's going to be a first down as he was able to throw it out to Leyland, who had leaked out the right side, and he picks up the first down, but Devron Williams makes the stop. Again, almost put no cigar there for the Wolves.
Yeah, they were playing it really close to the box in here, and everybody kind of pulled this way, the receivers, except for one guy who was in the slot. You mentioned he was on the right side. He kind of just bled out there over to the far side where no one was there, made the catch, and then got the rest on his feet.
1st and 10, Limestone with another first down at their own 47 now as they move up toward midfield. No score in the ball game, almost 5 minutes deep. 3 wide receivers. And now they direct snap this ball this time. And not much of a gain. 2 yards here. Kobe Taylor puts the stop on the runner. It'll be 2nd and 8. And that ball was carried, I believe, by Ty Cade, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Kobe's headgear came off, so he's going to have to come off the field for a play.
2nd and 8 for Limestone from their own 49-yard line. No score in the ball game. 9:55 and counting here in the first period.
Carson Smith in there on the defensive end for Newberry.
Play action fake. They fire. It is caught short of a first down. Newberry on it really quickly as they get that off once again to Ty Cade. Roach and Smith, Chucky and Charles on the stop. It'll be 3rd and about 2, maybe 3. Limestone goes in a hurry. They fire it out to the right side, and that's a first down. Just a really good call there. Low percentage pass in terms of being intercepted, but you get just enough to pick up yet another 1st and 10.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing a lot of third and shorts here on this drive, and that's just, they're getting the yardage necessary to make it, if you get to third down, at least a third and short. And like you said, it's either a little dump pass or a little run that can get it for you, so the drive continues.
Trips left, one man right. Play action fake again. They dump it off out of the backfield to Leyland. Leyland to the Newberry 35 and is dumped down to the turf by Newberry's Elijah Vereen. They're going to pick up significant yardage there. That's going to be a gain of close to 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Ball inside the 35 at the 34-yard line. Saints have 2 men each way. Stoltz to the near side. Inside of him is Cade. 2 men over to the right as well. Long count here. Play clock down to 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and they just do get it off. Back to throw. The ball is tipped, and Newberry almost picks it off. But in and out of the arms of the Newberry defender there who could have had that one. That was Charles Smith, one of the linebackers.
And that was Colby Taylor applying the pressure from behind. As right as he delivered it, he got the arm, hit it, and it just floated out there with Charles Smith. Almost a little early Christmas gift right there, but he just couldn't hang on.
Wow, what a big play that could have been. Back to throw. Here's the pressure. They fire this downfield, and Newberry's going to pick that one off at the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and tipped up from behind is Keyshawn Glover all the way out to the Newberry 47-yard line, I believe is where they're going to mark this.
Well, I don't know what he was doing throwing into that pile. There were more red jerseys than white, and he threw it short, and Keyshawn Glover, he was saying, that ball's for me, and it was an easy pickoff. One of the easier ones you're going to see.
That's one of the drills that the coaches go over with the football, the defensive players in pregame. They throw a high ball, and they have to run and jump up and catch it, and that's exactly what he just did.
Yep, that was a thing of beauty right there.
1st and 10 Wolves at the Newberry 47-yard line after the turnover on the pick. Motion by Dorsey. Handoff. Here's Dwayne Wright straight ahead. He'll power to the 49. He'll get 2, and it'll be 2nd down and 8. Stopped on the play by Matt Wilrow.
Gain of 2 to the 49-yard line.
7.5 to go, first quarter. No score in the ball game.
Yeah, you know it's a little bit of an up-tempo pace here. No huddle offense for Newberry.
2 men each way, so double slots. Sharpie looks to the sideline. Piles to snap it to him. Here it is. Sharpie going to take off on the run. Trying to get to the outside. Turns the corner at the 50 and runs out of bounds. And let's see here. They're not going to throw a flag. Newberry wants a flag thrown here on that out-of-bounds hit, but they're not going to get it. Ty Cade on the stop.
Yeah, and a little bit of a late hit right there.
And Ty Cade, we have him down as a linebacker. There's also a number 3 on the offensive side, so I guess we don't know who that is either. Well, now we see maybe it's Trey Williams. It depends on which roster you look at here.
Yeah.
3rd down now, 3 for the Wolves after the scamper by Reed. 4 wide receivers. Reed on an option pitch to right. Bangs off one tackle and gets a first down as he drives down to the 36-yard line of the Saints. Harrison Jeffries on the tackle.
Well, the first guy there was Matt Wilho who made the hit, but this time, well, we already told you, the powerful running of Graham Wright, he just rolled right off of him and kept on going to pick up the first down.
1st and 10 Wolves at the Saints' 36-yard line. Remember, this drive started on a Newberry interception. Dessashore in motion. They throw it to Desasure. Trying to get around the corner, and he's going to be pulled out of bounds down around the 32-yard line by Cayman Fagans. And that'll bring up a second down. Newberry's going to get 4 on that play. So it'll be second and about 6 yards to go. 6:10 to go, first quarter. No score in the ball game. Dwayne Wright remains the running back. Motion by Desasure from left to right. He turns up the field. Here's a throw underneath to Tommy. Tommy inside the 20, down to about the 18-yard line. That's a first down, Wolves.
Yeah, Tommy got hit kind of from the side. He's a little gingerly getting up there, but he is on his own power. That's good to see.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of hits when you saw it when it happened, you said, uh-oh.
Yeah, he came kind of from the side below the knee, and I was like, uh-oh, but he's up. Hopefully that's not going to provide any lasting problems for him.
He is so effective after catching the ball, and that was a pretty good example right there. Picked up some significant yardage, or yak yards, as we say. 2 men to the left, 1 to the right. Dwayne off the right side, lowers his head, gets to the 16, gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. Harrison Jeffries on the stop for the Saints.
2-yard gain on the play. 2nd down.
Well, it might have been Johnson. Who knows?
well, interesting on the Limestone roster here is they've given us, it's a defense roster. On the other page, you got an offense roster. So I'm just trying to keep up with which side is which.
All right, here's the give to Dwayne Wright, and he's going to take it in for a touchdown. And they're going to get down into the corner. One of the officials running down to the corner to make sure nothing broke out down there, as it certainly could have, but no flags are down. And Newberry takes the lead here with 4:37 to go in the first period.
Well, that's really taking advantage of what they've given. You remember it was a pretty poor pass down over here with Keyshawn Glover, making the interception. Great drive right there. And of course, on a short field after Glover returned it to midfield.
Here's the extra point try, up, and it is good. Up and over by Bryce Early. 4:37 to go, first period. Wolves 7, Limestone nothing.
They're going to bring us to a media timeout. Founders, Center Credit Union has invested in Newberry College and the Newberry community. They have obtained naming rights to the field house at the stadium and are proud partners of Newberry College Athletics. Head to foundersfte.com to find out what the Founders Ribbon Team need for you. And fans, at this time, we would like to welcome all guests to Setzer Field. We would especially like to welcome our athletic club members, alumni in Newberry community to Homecoming 2024. And we also extend a special welcome to George Franklin, Stanley Clay, and Ron Parker and the Founders Federal Credit Suites. First Things First is the official gear partner for the Wolves.
Well, a 16-yard touchdown run by Dwayne Wright. Extra point by Bryce Early. Good. 4:37 to go here in the first period. Newberry has taken a 7-0 lead over the Limestone Saints. Let's go to the Lancero Lounge scoreboard. We got a lot of games in the SAC that were already underway when we started.
Yeah, we're the last game on the day. We've got a couple of finals already for you. One of them a little bit of an upset here. Wingate has defeated Lenore Rhine 14-10 earlier today.
And if you're a Newberry fan, you wanted to see that.
Well, you did. And, of course, we're going to Wingate next week. So they're going to be high off that victory. Also, the other final, Mars Hill has defeated Emory and Henry 31-23. With games still going on in the second half, early in the second half. Barton leading Catawba 21-14. UVA Wise and Tusculum tied at 21. No score. Carson Newman and Anderson.
All right, so there you have it. We'll check some of the other scores around the country. A lot of big games coming up or underway this afternoon, and some big ones tonight as well. I know you're a happy camper.
Well, the Miami Hurricanes once again found themselves down, but came back big time in the second half. That's probably gone final by now, but they were up big and continuing their onslaught.
All right, here's the kickoff by Newberry to Limestone. Going to be hauled in at the 1 yard line. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and Bryce Early almost had to stop, but the runner got away, and then he gets pulled down by the guy that ran in behind Bryce.
Looks like they're going to pull that back where he stepped out of bounds a little bit more.
Yep.
That's good at least, but pretty good field position no matter what.
Yeah, he had gotten tackled right around the 50, maybe the 45, and they're actually going to say he stepped out at the 46 of the Limestone Saints on the Limestone side of the 50-yard line.
Yeah, he just kind of ran into the pile there, squirted out this way toward the near sideline, found a seam down over here, and then had to be Bryce Early to make the play.
2 men right, 1 left with a wingman on that right side as well. Hand off, now they fake it and throw it out underneath. That pass is caught across the 50 to the 49-yard line. I believe that's Jalen Jones on the catch. Jalen Stratford on the stop. That'll be a gain of 5 and should bring up second down 5. By the way, the officials today, we mentioned the referee Rob McConkey, umpires Greg McDade, head line judge Darren Binge, line judge Wayne Merritt, side judge Jerry Cohen, field judge Chad Birch, back judge Tyler Arlington, and the clock operator B.J. Pate in the booth below us. 2nd and 5 for the Saints. Long count here by Noller. Hands it off straight ahead, and Newberry is right there to make the stop. That's Kahim Buffet, who jumps right on top of the running back. 3rd down now, 3rd and 4 for the Saints from the Newberry 47-yard line.
Yeah, but again, it's another one of these 3rd and short opportunities here for Limestone. See if they can make the big stop right here.
Leyland, the running back, to the left of Noller. Motion off the right side. And they fake it, and they throw it underneath, and this is going to be, he maybe bangs away. Devon Williams on the first hit, but Limestone is going to pick up the first down really on second effort.
Yeah, he really did. He made the first hit right there just a little bit short, right at the 45. He needed to get to the 44, and then like you mentioned, kind of bounced off him a little bit before he got brought down there and just got enough.
So a 1st and 10 for the Saints. 2:59 to go, first 15 minutes. Wolves on top 7-0. Limestone moving right to left. They now have it in Newberry territory at the 42. Handoff coming near side. Leyland run down by Newberry at the 41-yard line. Kahim Buffet again on the stop. Actually going to give him down to the 40. Elijah Marine helping out. It'll be 2nd and 8 now for the Saints, so they do pick up 2 on that play. Saints have 1 man out to the near side. We believe that's Robinson. A wingman and 2 bunched up to the right. Back to throw. Here's the pass down the field. That one is up for grabs. It is caught, and that is a touchdown. Beautifully thrown ball. I believe that's DJ Black who caught the ball over Keyshawn Glover, and that was laid in there absolutely perfectly by Noller for the touchdown.
Yeah, you're kind of surprised that Glover was not able to close up a little bit. That ball had a little bit of air underneath it. I thought he could get there, and, well, unfortunately he just couldn't.
So the Saints are an extra point away from tying this one up with about 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go here in the first period. Here's the extra point up, and it is up and good.
2 minutes, 8 seconds remaining in the first period.
And so with 2 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the first 15 minutes of play from Setzer Field, Newberry 7, Limestone 7. Back in a minute.
They're what now? They're peaking.
What?
Doing what? They're distorting. They're like clipping off. They're too strong. They're too strong.
For the Saints. Marquez fails.
All right, back here at Setzer Field. 7-7 the score as Limestone scores on that possession. And they get set to kick off now to the Wolves. By the way, a 40-yard pass from Noller to Black to tie the ball game. And I think we're finally set to go for the kickoff here, right to left. This one coming toward the goal line. Spells picks it up. 10, 15, Quez to the 20, runs into a pile and is going to push his way out near the 25, maybe the 26-yard line. And the Wolves will start somewhere in that neighborhood. We'll see what the official spot's going to be here in a second. Caliber Hoey on the stop, we think.
Well, he made a fine caliber stop there. Just kidding, Caliber.
They do spot it at the 26-yard line. First and 10 for the Wolves, moving left to right. Back to throw. Here's a pass down the near sideline for Dorsey, and he makes the one-hand catch, and there's a flag on top of that. Alonzo Johnson.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of contact down there. Johnson trailing him, trying to pull the arm, and you just can't do that.
Rico Dorsey Jr. with a great catch all the way down at the Limestone 37-yard line. Now there's a flag on the play down the field. Obviously, that's going to be some kind of interference, we believe, but Newberry will decline that.
Offense, number 7.
You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
That's kind of hard to do when you're a step in front of your defender. So I don't know what that was
That is
about.
the most incredible bunch of garbage I've seen this week.
Wow. Didn't expect that one.
Nope.
I thought we saw that the defender had him kind of from behind. He was pulling at him. How can you have the offensive player pushing off a little bit? That's the only thing they could have possibly seen.
And the flag was thrown down here where he got pushed.
Yeah, so.
What a crummy call.
That one didn't go Newberry's way, unfortunately.
So Newberry pushed all the way back to their own 13-yard line.
Well, you got to overcome it. What can you do, right? That's the call. Now just get your head straight, get going again.
Hand it off, Quest Spells. He's going to push to the 16, so he gets about 3. Luke Janik, one of the linebackers, in on the stop.
Games to the 16-yard line, second down.
Second and a mile and a half to go. Remember, Newberry's going to have to take this ball at the 36-yard line to pick up the first down.
Yeah, and you really want to get, some distance out here. You don't want to even flip the field if you don't make it.
Reed back to throw. Fires for Dorsey once again. He's getting pushed around, and there's a flag. Same play. And this time they're going to call it on Limestone.
Don't be too sure because Rico this time you saw he had the hand back. And it depends on what the referee saw. They could nail him again.
Well, let's see.
It wouldn't be surprised.
I tell you what, this crowd's going to go nuts if they do.
Pass interference. Defense, number 12.
Yeah, well, that's what it should have
15
been the
yards
first
from the
time.
previous
Yeah.
spot. Automatic first down.
I was a little worried on that one because that one I did see Rico's hand pushing back. But, I mean, you know, you're not grabbing anything. You're just kind of getting a little bit of distance. As long as you're not moving the arm or anything and you don't have a grip of the shoulder or the jersey, they'll let it go usually.
Well, they move it to the 31, and that gives Newberry a 1st and 10. And I'm feeling a little bit better.
Well, they got the new down. That's the main thing.
Motion by Desashore. Here's a handoff. Coming to the near side and across the 41-yard line on the carry. Harrison Jeffries on the stop.
Yeah, that was Spells, I believe.
It was Spells.
Kind of slipped there. Did you notice? We don't want to start having that here at Sessler Field. Remember the slipping problems up over there at Catawba?
Yeah, there were.
Person on the tackle.
For both teams and even for Newberry to a degree.
Yeah, so when he tried to make his cut here along the sideline, his foot kind of slipped out a little bit. Slowed him up, and then they tackled him.
Does pick up the 10 yards and a first down to the 41-yard line. 7-7 ball game, almost a half minute to go here. Little over a half minute to go here in the first quarter. Tommy Washington moves tight end left. Handoff. This is Murray who's checked in, and they dive right on him. First man there was Matt Wilwall. Traquel Murray.
Let's see if that's the last play of the quarter here, if they decide to hurry up.
Newberry loses a yard, so the ball back to the 40. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 11. And I think they're going to let this time expire. So that's going to be the end of the first quarter of play with the score Newberry 7, Limestone 7, and we'll be back to Setzer Field in a minute.
Limestone tied at 7.
First quarter.
Welcome to the field, your Newberry College cheer team and tech team.
Let's see if we have time to do the stats. First quarter stats. Oh yeah, where's Paul?
All right, we got set for the second period of play. 7-7 ball game here. Newberry with the first score of the afternoon, a Dwayne Wright 16-yard touchdown run. 5 plays, 52 yards on that drive. And the Saints with a Dustin Noller to DJ Black pass for 40 yards. 5 plays, 54 yards on that drive. Al, what about those first quarter stats?
For Limestone, 5 first downs, 8 rushes for just 25 yards through the air, 6 of 9, 1 interception for Noller, 65 passing yards, 17 plays, 90 yards. Time of possession, 8-12, but 4 of 5 on third downs. Newberry's defense has got to bring that down a little bit. For Newberry, also 5 first downs, 7 rushes, 43 yards through the air. Sharpie, 3 of 5 for 22. Newberry just ran 12 plays, 65 total yards. Time of possession, 6:48. 2 penalties for 18 yards and 0 for 1 on third down.
All right, 2nd and 11 now. The Wolves scrimmaging from their own 40-yard line. Back to throw. Reed looking, going to fire it out underneath to Dorsey. Dorsey tries to sidestep a would-be tackler. Gets tripped up and he dives back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 11. And we don't know who made the tackle. 3rd and 11 now for the Wolves from the 40. Dorsey and Desashore to the right, 2 men to the left. 1 man goes in motion, that's Holloway, so that puts Trips now to the right side. Alone to the left side is Martin. Running back is Quez Spells. This is a 3rd and 11. Reed back to throw, being chased, rolls toward the near side, has time to throw, fires back underneath. That pass is complete. It is Spells, but he's only going to pick up about 2. There is a marker on the play back at the 35-yard line. That's probably not a good sign. Ja'Carry Kearns is the injured player, one of the big defensive men for the Saints. So we have the injury timeout. We'll see what this flag is going to be here in just a second. Our referee going out to midfield. That, of course, as we said, Rob McConkey.
Foul. Defense, number 93. Continue to participate without a helmet. 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. That helmet thing. Anyway, we do have the injury timeout, so we'll hold it right here, and let's check in on the scoreboard. Fourth quarter, Miami beating Duke 53-31. Fourth quarter, it's Ole Miss 63, Arkansas 31. Fourth quarter, Minnesota over Illinois 25-17. Coming up later today, Oregon at Michigan, Florida at Georgia, Texas Tech at Iowa State, Indiana at Michigan State, Kansas State at Houston, Texas A&M at South Carolina. We'll join that one in progress when we're done here. Louisville at Clemson, also coming up tonight. Kentucky at Tennessee, Pitt at SMU, and by the way, another final. This was a big game too. Ohio State, ranked 4th in the country, defeats Penn State at Penn State, the number 3 team in the country, 20-13. By the way, Army also defeating the Air Force today, 20-3. All right, we're back into action here now as the injured player has gone off the field for Limestone. 1st and 10 Wolves. And they get that first down on that personal foul against the Saints. Here's a handoff to Spells, and he's going to dive just inside the 40, where Jaden James, the nose tackle, brings him down. And one of the Wolves is shaken up on the play. Somebody's head went back. That is Damari Joyner, who is shaken up, but he's up off the turf. I think that was Spells whose head went snapping back. That was a scary-looking thing there for a minute, but he's okay. Joyner's going to come out, hopefully just for the moment.
Yeah, coming over to the sideline here.
Newberry gets 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down 7. Ball at the 39-yard line. That helmet rule about your helmet coming off and taking the time out and getting out, go out on the sideline. Here's a throw down the field, and it is in and out of the hands of Newberry's intended receiver. That was Troy Reed, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down. That down the far, or the near sideline, I should say, Camion Fagans on the coverage. So it'll be 3rd down and 7.
And that pass just a little bit toward the sideline, kind of, even if he caught it, he probably would have been out of bounds.
Not really sure what the issue was with Jamari. Thought there for a minute it might be a back, but now it looks like they're working around the shoulder. Back to throw Sharpia. Steps up, fires underneath. That pass is caught by Dorsey, and he's going to be stopped shy of the first down at the 36 by Jerike Johnson. It's going to bring up a 4th down for the Wolves from the Limestone 37. It'll be 4th and 5. 12:55 to go first half. Newberry 7, Limestone 7.
Well, they're not coming off the field. This is interesting. Ball at the 36 of Limestone. So if you don't make it, they're giving him a few yards here. Could try to pin him deep.
So it's going to be Dorsey and Desashore to the left, or to the right, I should say. 2 men stacked to the left. Play action fake. Sharpie back to throw. Rolls toward the near side. Fires for Dorsey, and it is incomplete. Almost caught, if you will, on the rebound. Camden Fagans on the stop. And one of the Newberry's other receivers, Jamias Holloway, actually drew a hand on that.
Yeah, there was some. I didn't catch the number. The first receiver came across a little bit high for him, went through his hands.
That was Dorsey.
Okay. And then it hit Holloway behind. I don't know, maybe he was a little surprised that got through to him. He just didn't make the catch.
So Limestone will take over 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line after Newberry goes on 4th down and doesn't make it.
Yeah, so a little bit of a gamble. I mean, it's the 36-yard line. If you punt it in there, let's say, I mean, obviously you would have loved to have maybe trapped him deep inside the 5 or the 10-yard line, but if you punt it out, it's going to come out to the 25.
All right, we've got a timeout on the field, 7-7 score. We'll be back in just a minute.
And the Darby Nursing and Health Sciences Center. This partnership is designed to allow for better growth, greater access, and more innovation in healthcare in the Midlands. The 11,000 square foot state-of-the-art center has been completed, and the clinic is now open. It is on the corner of Evans and College Street. Road fans, you are encouraged to remaining seats during halftime today to enjoy the Scarlet Spirit Marching Band as they perform their halftime show for the season. The band show is entitled I Love Rock and Roll and will feature the music of some of the great rock bands of the 70s and 80s. Be sure to stick around to enjoy the show.
Twelve minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Newberry 7, Limestone 7. And time still out here.
Fans, it's cookie time. Get on your feet for a sweet treat.
Remember,
By Layla's Place.
a new window has opened, if you will, for several teams in the SAC, Newberry included, and that is that the decision has been made that non-region games, if you will, won't count in the region championship. So Newberry with a non-region loss to Mars Hill, that won't count against them in the race for the region championship, the Piedmont region.
True, but they beat Tusculum, so that's the other region too. So I guess maybe does that win not count either?
I don't think so, not in this case. Here's a handoff, little pitch behind, and Limestone runs that out. That's DJ Black, one of the wide receivers coming left to right. Devron Williams stops him. Looked like Newberry might be able to stop him along the line of scrimmage, but he cut back and gets 7 on the play. So it'll be 2nd down and 3. The ball just outside the 44-yard line of Limestone.
Yeah, Devron Williams just a little slow getting up there, but he is up, back in there.
2nd down, 3. Handoff straight ahead, and Newberry's going to put a stop on this one. That goes to Leyland, and boy, Maquan Gear is right in there. The loss back to the 41-yard line, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 5 now.
Yeah, nice job by the defensive ends there. They just collapsed the pocket, pinched it in, and there was just nowhere for him to go.
Well, what a nice mark. They get it to 48, so it's not going to be 3rd and 5. It's 3rd and 3. Yeah, so they said he got back at the line of scrimmage. Not so sure about that either, but anyway, here we go. And they pitch it off inside, and Newberry stops that one as well. This one's on the 45, and that's a yard shy of a 1st down. Devron Williams on the tackle for Newberry. Along with, there he is again, Elijah Vereen.
Yeah, we're calling his name quite a lot. He's making a good game of it here in the first half, hitting hard.
4th and a yard to go for Limestone from their own 45. Newberry probably shouldn't bite on this either.
Yeah, you never know.
Gus Assure back to receive the punt.
They're all coming up. The defense here, just in case.
Snap back. They are going to punt it. And Dessassure hauls it in right around the 15. Keith to the near side 20 and dives out of bounds right up around the 25-yard line. So Newberry on the return. Keith Dessassure tackling the play by Cross Killen. So Newberry will take over 1st and 10 with 10:26 to go in the first half, 7-7 game. Well, a beautiful day here, and it's been a big week for homecoming, and certainly a big day today. Lots and lots of folks on the campus, lots of activities. The field hockey action earlier today. Newberry winning the conference championship with a 4-4 4-2 win over Converse. We're going to talk with Hannah Dave at halftime. Play action fake. Reed to the near side. Froze. It is caught. That is Murray out of the backfield. He'll be out near the 37-yard line. Stopped in the play by Shodipo, or Shodipo, I think it is. There's a flag down, though. And this one's probably going to come back.
Oh, chop block. Number 55 and number 52, offense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So that's against Newberry for a chop block. Takes the ball back inside the 15 to right near the 12-yard line. And the Wolves are looking at first down and back to the 35.
Yeah, these last couple of drives have started pretty deep in their own territory. The penalty is starting to creep up just a little.
Murray and Wright, both men in the backfield. They give it off to Dwayne over the right side. Not much going there. He's going to be stopped just shy of the 15. So Newberry picks up a couple on that play. Second down from the 14. And as I just mentioned, Newberry's got to get it out to the 35 to pick up the 1st and 10. Now Murray, the lone setback. 2 wide receivers each way for quarterback Reed Sharpia. Back to throw. Dancing around. Now running out to the right. And he's going to be sacked way back. The ball is loose. Newberry picks it up. And they're going to get tackled right down around the 1 or 2 yard line. Boy, that was a disaster in motion right there.
Yeah, and what makes it even worse, you're dancing around right in there about the 1 or 2 yard line. One of the linemen picked it up. I think that was Ternovsky.
It was.
And they just swarmed all over.
Actually, it was Dallas Shirley.
Was it Shirley? Okay. It was a 7D. That's Dallas Shirley. Picks it up. Good job trying to save it, but too many white jerseys around him.
Now it's going to be third down and a half a mile to go. And we're going to have a timeout taken here. Sharpia, by the way, was shaken up on the play, and he is coming out of the ball game. So Sharpia is out of the lineup. And into the lineup is Coleman Gray, the freshman. Hands it off to Dwayne Wright. Just trying to get some breathing room here, and he takes it out to the 4.5 yard line. So Newberry's going to have to punt away. And boy, talk about flipping the field. Newberry did some of that damage there themselves, but Limestone is going to most likely come up with pretty darn good field position after this series.
Yeah, they sure are. 3 penalties for 30 yards, by the way, for the Wolves right now. But 0 for 2 on third downs. Of course, that one was very difficult to turn over, but they're going to have to punt it out from their own end zone.
So Newberry will come out to punt this away, and of course, that's going to be Burke Nettles. Nettles standing about 9, almost 10 yards deep in the end zone here. Snap back to him. And this is not one of the Burke Nettles type punts that you normally see, but it does take a Newberry roll. And Newberry's going to let it roll, and it rolls dead near the 49. And boy, that's a lucky break on the roll there.
Yeah, because that was that hit just past the 30, 35 maybe. And if that deep man would have come up to get that one, boy, they would have been set up nice. But as it is, they are on the Newberry side of the field.
So Limestone will take over, 1st and 10 at the Newberry 49. We have 7:47 to go in the first half. 7-7 ball game. Homecoming 2024.
First down and 10 for Limestone at the Newberry 49-yard line.
Limestone up on 1st and 10. There's a ball snapped over the head. Now the whistle blows. Boy, a break here. I don't know who the penalty is against. But either way, that's a break for Limestone because that ball was snapped all the way back to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, they'll take the penalty.
first down.
For sure on that one over what actually happened on the play.
Absolutely. As I said, either way, that's a break for the Saints. It'll be 1st and 15 now back at the 46-yard line, but that could have been disaster for them as well.
Yeah, too bad they blew the whistle on the movement there, so, a play's not able to be declined by Newberry.
1st and 10, 1st and 15, I should say, from the 46. Quick toss out to the left flat. Lots of blockers out there, and this is going to go for pretty big yardage by Limestone down the sideline and running out of real estate down near the Newberry 34-yard line.
Well, Devin Williams ran him out, but a really nice design play. You had two receivers over there. They started going down the field. They took their coverage with them, but then out of the backfield, you just dump it off right there. You have two blockers going around the edge for you. He's able to get that edge and gets the big yardage.
And he was DJ Black, one of the wide receivers over on the left side. He remains the wide receiver left. There are two men to the right on 1st and 10 for Limestone at the Newberry 34. Play action fake. Noller going long down the field, and that one is caught. Touchdown. Marker down at the line of scrimmage. Hang on. Daquan Brunson on the coverage. This might be coming back. That ball was laid.
Offense number 73. 10 yards from the previous spot. Remains first down.
That one was much like the first one. Right in the old breadbasket.
Yeah, over the defensive coverage right there, too. I thought Brunson, again, could maybe get there, but just a beautiful pass. But it's all for naught. Didn't happen.
So it's going to move the football for the Saints. Well, they're still talking about this here. So the officials continue to discuss where they want to place the football.
Wait a minute. Everybody's moving back toward the line of scrimmage here. What's going on?
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
How are they going to explain this one?
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 9, defense. That'll be 15 yards from the succeeding spot with an automatic first down.
Holy moly. You just can't keep doing stuff like that. My goodness. Instead of the ball being back here close to where we're looking down, it's now going to be a first down at the 29. So the only good side of that is the touchdown comes off the board.
Yeah. But they're still set up pretty nice here with a new set of downs at the 29 of Newberry.
Correct. Two men to the right, everybody else in tight. Play action fake by Noller. Back to throw, fires down the field. That is overthrown. Intended for Trey Williams. Jalen Stratford on the coverage.
Yeah, but I tell you, he got behind him there, got a couple of steps separation. If that ball had been thrown right on the money, that would have been 6 also.
Yep.
Got to be careful there. Got to cut the penalties here. They're starting to creep in a little bit too much here. We're now at 4 penalties, 45 yards. Of course, same exact number for Limestone. They've got 4 for 45 as well, so see what happens with that.
Yeah, the first touchdown pass Noller threw, and then the one that didn't count was perfect, right on the money. This time he overshot the receiver. Here's a little pitch to an end around, and Newberry's going to run that down pretty nicely as that goes to DJ Black. And Black is going to be put down shy of the 25 at about the 27, 28-yard line. Clarence Simmons on the stop. They do mark it at the 27. Here's 3rd and 9.
Yeah, the key to that play there, Luke Taylor, he got to the outside, forced the man in where Simmons and the rest could make the stop after minimal gain. This is one of the first 3rd and longs that we've seen. Let's see what happens here if Limestone can convert it or not.
Actually make it 3rd and 8. The ball is at the 27-yard line.
They're 4 for 6 on 3rd downs, but not this far. Like I said, they've had a bunch of nice shorter plays.
Basically 4 wide receivers. Back to throw Noller. Pressure coming. That ball is thrown. It is caught down at the 16-yard line, and that is a first down. Perfect little out pattern there.
Well, when in doubt, go to the sideline, right? You usually can find a little cushion out over here. Nobody's going to – usually you're going to be on one-on-one type isolation with your cornerback, and if you can maybe stop short, just get to the line again, a good pass, and you'll usually get it.
Quick play here. Straight ahead it goes to Leyland. And Leyland is going to get to the 12-yard line.
Yeah, he kind of tripped up on his own offensive lineman right there. Nobody really touched him as far as the Newberry line.
Gain of 4, second down 6. 5:40 to go in the first half. Newberry 7, Limestone 7. Limestone in the red zone. We've got a timeout on the field, which looks like Colby Taylor is down. We'll take a 30-second break and be right back. Colby Taylor is coming out with a little bit of help from a couple of the trainers, but he's a tough cookie, and I don't see anything that would lead me to believe he would not be back. We'll see. But Limestone looking at second down and what will now be about 6 yards to go. Football down at the Newberry 12-yard line in this 7-7 ball game with just over 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, I tell you what, these defenses have done a pretty good job. Now, Limestone, they're sitting on 136 total yards for the offense. Newberry just 65, though, although we still are tied.
Miller hands it off straight ahead. Again, that's Leyland. And the pile goes inside the 10 to the 8. Looks like Tanner Funderburk was the first man in the scarlet jersey to get there. Third down coming up here for Limestone. Ball at the 8. Have to get it to the 6, so third and about 2. See if the Wolves can stop this and maybe make them go field goal. They go right ahead once again. That's going to be a first down as Kevin Leyland dives inside the 5 to the 3.
Yeah, there were several defensive players in there just absolutely cut the legs out from underneath him. Williams, one of those guys. Carson Smith, another one.
Colby Taylor running back into the field, by the way.
Also Trey Phillips coming out. He may have made some hard contact underneath as well.
One of the Wolves down, though, after the play is over here. So the trainers are back on the field. So we've got another injury timeout here. 4:37 remaining in this first half. Newberry 7 and Limestone 7. We'll hold it right here, bring you up to date on some of the scores of games that are underway. A little over 5.5 to go. Miami up on Duke 53-31. And that's the same score we had from earlier?
Yeah, that is a final.
Yeah, that did go final. We'll see if this updates for us. So hang on a second.
I think that's Devrin Williams. I don't see a number 5 staying out there with the defensive unit. He's been banged up a little today.
Here we go. Here are the updates. Oregon leading Michigan 21-7 in the second, late in the second. Florida 10, Georgia 3 in the world's largest cocktail party. Texas Tech leading Iowa State 10-6.
Yeah, that is Devrin Williams.
It is. He's coming out under his own power, but he does not have his headgear.
Yeah, I remember a little bit earlier on in the game, he kind of got up a little slow. He's been making some big plays down there. Maybe just kind of tweaked something when he went in and made the hit. He's smiling a little, but that's good.
And he gets his helmet back.
He's a tough guy, let me tell you. He's in one of my classes. I've gotten to know him a little bit. I always tell him, hey, congratulations, player of the week, and all this kind of stuff. And he's always, thinking next week. It doesn't matter. Let's go to next week.
All right, here's the direct snap. Once again, they did this earlier. The direct snap goes to Trey Williams, and Williams takes it down to the 2. It'll be second and goal to go. Yeah, don't tell him that when he's the player of the game in a loss either, right?
No, that doesn't matter at all.
And Williams again, and Newberry had him stopped, but he dives into the end zone for the touchdown. Looked like Newberry was going to have him shy of the goal line, but Williams takes it in on the direct snap again. Daquan Brunson was the man who kind of slowed him down. But Williams gets into the end zone, and Limestone regains the lead 13-7 here with 4 minutes to go in this first half of play. Here's the kick. It is good. Limestone 14, Newberry 7 on homecoming day. 4 minutes to go in the first half. We'll be back in just a minute.
And the score Limestone 14, Newberry 7.
Let's see here. Barton.
My roster says Trey Williams rushed for that touchdown. You be the no idea about this roster, to be honest with you. All right, here's the kickoff now by Limestone to the Wolves. And this one's going to fly in and out of the back of the end zone for the touchback. So, Al, back to the Lancero Lounge scoreboard. You got some updates in the SAC.
I have been busily updating them. 2 finals. Wingate has defeated LR 14-10, and Mars Hill beating Emory Henry 31-23. Now, very late in the game, Barton all over Catawba 42-28. We do have one more final, just went final. UVA Wise has defeated Tusculum 35-27, and Carson Newman leading Anderson 14-0.
All right, Coleman Gray has come back out to direct the offense. Remember, on the last possession, Reed was injured, and I haven't seen them working on him. We'll keep an eye on that down below. Here's a give to Dwayne Wright. He's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage for no gain by Luke Janik.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about how this offense had really started rolling here going back a couple of weeks to Catawba with Reed Sharpia really kind of finding his footing and directing this offense. And, boy, you just hate to see your field general, the quarterback, coming out and have to be replaced.
I don't see anybody working on him down below. In fact, I don't even see him.
Yeah.
Back to throw. Gray going to run now. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. All the way down to the Limestone 41-yard line goes freshman Coleman Gray, the young man out of Chapman High in Inman.
Well, great blocking, by the way, at the line to let him out. And then downfield, he was just using his blockers, going left, going right. Well, if you do that, we don't have to worry too much.
That's exactly right. Beautiful run there by the freshman.
He was pretty excited, too. Made the old first down motion after the run.
Dessa Shore to the right, Martin to the left.
I think that was our longest play from scrimmage.
Here's the give to Dwayne Wright. Once again, Dwayne is going to be hit after only a yard gain to the 40. It'll be 2nd and 9, and it's Trayon Freeman who makes the stop.
Trayon Freeman in on the tackle for the Saints. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
2nd down, 9 yards to go for the Wolves. Wide receiver left is Ja'Cory Martin. Wide receiver right, Keith Dessashore. 2 tight ends on the left for the Wolves. Motion by Dessashore. They give it to him on an end around, trying to pick up a block. Not going to get one, and he loses back to at least the original line of scrimmage. Matt Howard chases him out of bounds. In fact, he may lose. They're going to put him right back at the 41, so it'll be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, you just can't live there all afternoon. Newberry already 0 for 3 on third downs, whereas Limestone's 6 for 8. We just can't get on top of that little stat, can we? That's trouble. You can't keep the drive going.
Rico Dorsey Jr. back wide right. Desisure in the slot on that side. To the near side is going to be Martin, but we're going to have a timeout. The 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes to go first half. Limestone 14, Newberry 7. Back in a minute.
Their first. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2:05.
Oh. That is so funny. It's not the 2-minute timeout.
They did call a timeout.
Yeah, they did.
And now we're going to have another 5 seconds.
Timeout in 5 stupid seconds.
Third down.
Oh, she's
And 10 for the Wolves.
She good. All right, 3rd and 10. Here's the snap back to Gray. Gray being chased. He's hit. The ball is loose. Unfortunately for Newberry, it goes out of bounds. He was hit by Jeremiah Lomax. The ball goes out of bounds all the way back at the 46-yard line, and it's 4th down, and Coleman was down kind of holding the wrist, it looked like.
Yeah, he took a good arm to his arm, and with such force, it made that ball. He was just a little bit inside of the hash mark, and that ball came all the way out and went out of bounds, thank goodness.
So now we're down to the 2-minute timeout.
Well, we could have redone that play. We should have did it a 2-minute instead of that play.
Limestone had taken the timeout with 2:05 to go, and so now we're down to the 2-minute timeout.
Well, maybe they wanted to do that to stop the clock, save a little time. Have to have Newberry do that long third down. So now they're going to have the full 2 minutes, and Newberry's going to have to punt.
Maybe so. All right, let's update the scoreboard once again here as we have this timeout just before halftime. Oregon 21, Michigan 10, second period. Florida 10, Georgia 3, second period. Texas Tech over Iowa State 10-6, second period. Indiana leading Michigan State 21-10, second period. Kansas State 3, Houston 0, first period. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Texas A&M at South Carolina, Louisville at Clemson, Kentucky at Tennessee, Pitt at SMU coming up later tonight. Ohio State beat Penn State earlier today, 20-13. Miami did beat Duke 53-31. Arkansas took it on the chin. Ole Miss 63-31. Air Force defeated by Army 20-3. Minnesota with a 25-17 win over Illinois. Boise State last night beat San Diego State 56-24. So those are some of the scores from today and from last night.
As you analyze these stats here late in the first half, the one thing that really stands out here between these two teams is Limestone's passing game. They're doing it pretty good. They've got 96 receiving yards. We only have 28, which is kind of surprising. Running game is just pretty much even Steven there. So that just kind of shows you, right? We're a little bit behind on the passing game here tonight. And obviously now with another quarterback in there, that could be a little bit of a problem.
4th down, 18 yards to go for the Wolves. After the fumble out of bounds, the ball back at the 48-yard line. Here's the snap. And this punt is away. High wobbly spiral. Going to hit. And let's see, he did touch it. I think Newberry touched it back around the 7-yard line. So that's where it's going to be. The ball then bounced up and hit the Newberry player as he went into the end zone. By the way, that's Vereen, but they're going to mark it at the 7. So good job. And for 1:51 to go here, Limestone's going to start 1st and 10 at their own 7-yard line. 1:51, though, is a lot of time.
It is. I mean, if you can get a quick stop, 3 and out, you could flip the field. If you keep them pinned back in there, you could get it back. Newberry has all 3 timeouts, remember. So if they can get a midfield, hey, at the very least, right, try to Get a field goal, if nothing else, get a little momentum going into the line.
And on the other side of the coin, if Limestone should push this thing down and score, remember they get the ball coming out of the locker room because they again won the toss and deferred.
Yes, they do.
Which has happened to Newberry most every game this year. I promised I was going to check on that this week, and I forgot to.
How do we check on that?
Look back and see what the official book says, I guess.
Okay, there's got to be a
but
stat somewhere.
I can't remember winning a toss.
You're right. Can't remember it.
First down. Here's Nolan back to throw. Pressure coming. He's going to fire this up the far side. That ball is caught and all the way down to the Newberry 20-yard line at least. Keyshawn Glover on the coverage. Another long ball heaved down the field by Noller. This time it doesn't go for the touchdown, but it is caught. And the exact thing you didn't want to see happen from the Newberry perspective almost happened right there. They mark it at the 18-yard line.
Big play, right? Coach is going to come up here after this game, and he's going to say, they got behind us, and we gave up the big play. That's what it is.
1st and 10 from the 18. Noller hands it off to Leyland. Newberry is there to stop him for a short gain. He may have made it to the 16-yard line. 1:25 to go. Jonathan Sexton on the stop.
Kind of almost wonder, should you be taking timeouts here to try to save time, perhaps? I don't know. If they do score, you get it back at least.
1:08 to go, and the clock is running. Limestone up 14-7, but they're in the red zone again. 2nd and 9 from the 17. They fake the pass, they throw it underneath. And this one's going to go inside the 5 as that goes into the arms of DJ Black. And it's going to be 1st and goal for Limestone. Chucky Roach on the coverage, and Mason Mayer also there. This crowd has kind of gone quiet here.
Well, yeah, I mean, 14-7, okay, it's a one score, but after that big old play right there, and all of a sudden they're right here knocking on the door to possibly go up 21-7 at half. That's not what you wanted to see.
I mean, this is a dangerous football team. There's no question about it. Overall, 5-3, 4-2 in the SAC, notwithstanding that change in the Piedmont division that we talked about. Here's a handoff once again, and diving toward the end zone, and he's in. That is Kevin Leyland, and he has scored again.
Keep in mind, this started, at the 7-yard line?
That's right.
93-yard drive, just like that in about a minute's
Please
time.
reset the game clock to 45 seconds, 4-5 seconds.
They're setting the game clock 3 seconds up there. It's 45 seconds to go. And we're going to be at halftime here.
Yeah, you got a special guest coming up here.
We
Can't
do.
wait to hear this.
Here's the extra point try by Limestone. And it is up and good. Newberry trying to get in there to block it, but they couldn't get there in time. 44 ticks left to go. And it's 21-7 Limestone. We'll be back in a minute. All right, Quest spells deep on the far side, and Jonah Norris on the near side waiting to receive the kickoff here by Limestone, left to right. Here's the run-up. Only 45 seconds to go here before halftime. That one flies out of the back of the end zone once again for the touchback. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wolves from their own 25.
Yeah, and you had those 93 yards on that one, and all of a sudden the stats start really getting up on you for Limestone. 33 plays, 228 yards here in the first half. Newberry only 94. They just can't get the passing game going here in this first half.
So 1st and 10 from the 25, less than a minute to go here in this first half. Dorsey and Desashore to the right. To the near side is Ja'Cory Martin. And it is once again Coleman Gray. So it'll be interesting to see coming out of the locker room who's going to be the quarterback. And they hand this off to the right side, and that's not going anywhere. It goes to Quest Spells, and he's going to be stopped right along the line of scrimmage by Luke Janik. And it'll be 2nd down 10. Clock is running down to a half minute. And Newberry might just let this run out right here.
At this point, unless you go deep and try to kind of surprise them a little bit. But
Gray back to throw. Now going to run. Now fires it. Little looping pass out to Spells coming out of the backfield. Incomplete. That'll stop the clock with 13 seconds to go. One of the linebackers, Ray, on the stop or on the coverage. So 13 ticks left here before the break.
It looks like that what they had in mind. 4 receivers going deep. Coleman was looking downfield, but just nothing happened. Good coverage with the defensive secondary there.
3rd and 10 now for the Wolves. Quest Spells remains the running back, wide to the left. 3 wide receivers, 2 left, 1 right. Spells gets the handoff, and he goes nowhere. In fact, he loses 2 yards. And down to 7 seconds here, and that's going to force Newberry to punt. And I think Limestone probably took the timeout to make them punt.
Yeah, you never know what could happen, right? So a high snap or something. They've still got 2 timeouts to work with. So why not use them? 6 seconds to go on the clock. Although, with 1 play here, it's probably going to be the final play of the first half.
Yeah, so on 4th down and what'll be 12 yards to go, Newberry's going to punt away with only... Well, they put 8 seconds back up there. And so Newberry is going to be forced to punt. And here comes the punting unit onto the field. And, of course, Burt Nettles will come out to do that. Did not have a very good punt on his first one by Burt Nettles standards. Limestone putting 10 men up on the line of scrimmage. Here's the snap back. Nettles gets it away. Wobbly end-over-end kick. Takes a Newberry roll. That ball is recovered by the Limestone, and then Newberry dives in there. Let's see. Newberry says they have it. And if they do, they're going to have 2 seconds to work with here.
Yeah, they could have 1 play. No motion by the referee yet.
Well, maybe that timeout's going to come back to haunt the Saints. We can only hope. Officials were huddled. That's kind of dangerous. Here's the call.
The ruling on the field is a muff recovered by the kicking team.
There you go.
1st down. Please put 2 seconds on the game clock.
Wow. So Newberry's going to have 2 seconds to play with here. And
Hail Mary.
Yeah, no kidding. Why not? Traquel Murray is going to be the running back here. Wolves are going to go with 2 men each way. 1st and 10. Actually, 1st and 2 seconds to go from the Limestone 46. Here's the snap back to Coleman Gray. He's going to heave it down the post, and it is picked off by Limestone. Now Newberry's got to make sure they get this return man. It's picked off, and the ball is going to go down the far sideline, and Newberry's going to put a stop on him down around the 38-yard line across the way. So that is the end of the first half of play with our score, 21-7 Limestone. Before we go to break here, we are going to bring in Coach Hannah Dave from the Newberry College women's field hockey team. They picked up a 4-3 win earlier today over Converse, and now some cooler heads having to prevail across the way. You knew this was probably going to take place at some point before this game was over. and it did. So anyway, Hannah, welcome in. 15-3 on the year, 11-3 in the conference, and the conference champions.
Yes, so we are actually co-champions, and sure enough with Limestone. So I texted their coach earlier, and I was like, if we're going to be co-champions with anybody, I'm glad it's a Newberry alum. So she actually played for me about 4 years ago.
Right.
She was a great player, but she's a Newberry alum and the head coach at Limestone. So
And you have a little history too there, right?
correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
so a little bittersweetness, I guess.
Yes.
But your girls have had such a great year. As I mentioned, 15-3, 11-3. But the good news is you get to host, right?
That is correct. Yeah. So we'll host the semifinal game on Friday and the finals on Sunday.
That's coming up this next week.
Correct. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. And looking down the road, how does the NCAA situation look?
Yeah, so it changed for this for this upcoming year. And before, they would take the top 3 from each region, and now they're going to be doing an AQ from our conference. So we do have a big opportunity to go to nationals, and hopefully we can perform well this upcoming weekend and be the first team in the SAC to ever go.
And I heard you on the tailgate show earlier. I need to get my information from Wayne Alexander. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Because he's on that committee. Is that true?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so I'll bend his ear a time or two and see what he comes up with. So tell me a little bit about your feelings on this season as a whole.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting season. Like I said before, we graduated such a big, talented class this year, and so seeing a lot of the upper class women start stepping up into new positions, into leadership positions, has been awesome. Our senior, Tamsin Banger, got her 100th career point today.
That's
so
amazing.
She actually has 101 career points today, so
Wow.
we're very excited for her. But it's been such a special season, and I think that we performed more successfully than anybody thought we were going to perform this year.
Does that include you?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you're honest about that, and that's a pleasant surprise then.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so do we know who we will be facing at this point next week?
We will either be facing Lander or Mount Olive. So
Okay.
they will play each other on Monday in the quarterfinals, and whoever wins that game, we will be playing them here on
All
Friday.
right, so you got one of those that's it, 101 career points.
Yes.
These things will hurt you.
Yes.
These things will hurt you.
They will.
That's awesome. Is that going to go on the shelf?
That will actually go to Tamsin
Go to
Banger.
Tamsin,
So it was one of the game balls from today, and
Right.
so we're going to surprise her with that ball so that she can keep that kind of memory forever.
That's awesome. Now you're going to go down the field here in just a little bit, and your team's going to be recognized, and rightfully so. So just a big congratulations today. We look forward to following you next week, and good luck in the conference tournament, and hopefully and pretty surely beyond.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Coach Hannah Dave with us here on the show. All right, we'll be back. 21-7, Limestone leads here at halftime, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with our halftime show.
104 members strong is the largest marching band
Bryce Early with the extra point. Newberry led 7-0. Then with 2 minutes to go, that came with 4:37 to go in the first quarter, 2:08 to go in the first quarter. Dustin Knoller, the quarterback, threw complete to DJ Black, a 40-yard strike. 5 plays, 54 yards on the drive, and Limestone had tied it 7-7. 4 minutes to go in the second period. A 2-yard touchdown run by Limestone, capping a 10-play, 49-yard drive. Limestone up 14-7. And then, of course, right at the end of the first half of play, something you didn't want to see from the Newberry perspective, they got a 3-yard touchdown run, capping a 4-play, 80-yard drive. And with just 42 seconds remaining, Limestone scores again, 21-7, the score here at halftime, and that's where we are. So, Al, things were looking pretty even Steven here for a while, but not so much at the moment.
Yeah, right at the end of that quarter, they just kind of broke loose. I mean, we had them pinned, and then all of a sudden they pull off the big play, and I know Coach is not too happy with that. You'll probably hear him say something about that if things continue as they are, but hopefully not. Still got a whole half to play, and, one of the things that we were kind of considering here, I don't know, our one of our student producers for Wolves Weekly is Paul C. Fisher, and he was down shooting a lot of that game down from the field. And Paul, you're coming up and joining us here in the booth right now. It seemed like as the game went on, the chippiness, the stuff, they had trouble clearing the field at the end. What were you seeing? And not hearing. I can imagine what you hear down there. But how were things from your perspective? Field right on the field.
Well, Jimmy, Al, that was something that we were kind of worried about going into the game. We saw the history between these teams. They had kind of a scuffle last year after the game, and so that was something we were definitely looking out for. From the beginning of this kickoff until right now in halftime, this is something that has just been scrappy. Both sides are talking back and forth, talking before the play, after the play. We've seen a couple of unnecessary roughness penalties, stuff that just doesn't actually need to happen, and we're seeing that it truly is costing the Wolves. I hope that we can find some sort of solution to this. Maybe both the teams can come to a consensus before things get any worse, but that's just something that we'll continue talking about, continue looking at, and until then I'll send things back to y'all.
And too, Paul, right at the end there, I don't know how close you were to that when Newberry stopped that last play. There was a little scuffle across the way as well.
Yes, that's something that will probably end up keep on happening. I hope that the coaches say something to the players here at halftime, maybe change things up. But really, I think the thing that'll be the biggest factor in today's game is the quarterback story. That's something that's been a talking point all year for us.
Did you hear anything down there with Reed Sharpia by any chance?
There's not a lot going on here in the second quarter. Reed did end up going to the training room.
He did.
So
that's why we couldn't find him on the sideline.
Exactly. Left the field. They don't have a word on what the injury is yet, but we'll keep you updated as soon as we get the word.
All right, well, great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Paul.
Appreciate it.
One thing also, I don't know if you caught this while you were interviewing Coach Day, but there was a personal foul after the half ended, and they're going to put that, if I'm correct, it was on Newberry. And because they said the offense, and of course we had the offense on the final play of the half there, so they get the ball first, and apparently they're going to assess it on the opening kickoff, so we're in a hole even starting the second half.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Wow. All right, thank you, Paul. We'll look forward to hearing from you down in the field in the second half. Let's talk a little bit about the stats now, Al.
Yeah, as we start looking at this, hold on, let me go up to the top of my sheet here. For the Limestone Saints, 11 first downs in the first half, 19 rushes for 56 yards. Through the air, though, that's where they're doing the damage. 10 of 14 with the one interception, 172 passing yards. They've had 33 offensive plays, 228 total yards in the first half. And as you go down a little bit, time of possession, 15:02, so that was pretty much even right there. 4 penalties for 45 yards. They only punted once, a 42-yarder, but third down conversions, here it is, 6 of 8, and that's why they were continuing those drives and were able to score those points. For Newberry, 7 first downs, 18 rushes for only 64 yards. It's only about 3.5 yards per rush there. Through the air, 6 of 12. Also 1 interception there that occurred at the very end. Only 28 passing yards, 30 offensive plays, total offensive output 92 yards. They have punted 4 times, an average of 30.5. Also 4 penalties for 45 yards, but 0 for 5 on third downs, and there is the story. The Wolves just cannot continue a sustained drive. They have to punt it away, and obviously, Limestone has been doing that. That's basically the story of the game right now.
Right, and the other story in the game is the one that Paul just brought up, the question of Reed Sharpie, and what's the situation with him in terms of, is he going to be out for the rest of the game, or was it something they could fix in the trading room?
Yeah, and that was, I think, part of that in the early part of the season. We kind of had, shuffling quarterbacks in and out. Reed finally got up there. He was injured. He didn't play in the LR game, but then came back, and that's why. He came back, fired everything up, got the win. Catawba, last week as well. And now all of a sudden, oh, boy, you hate to see this. He goes down, and this could kind of disrupt that. We hopefully he's okay, of course, but more importantly, as far as the team goes, it kind of, once again, disrupts the offensive flow, that momentum that they seem to be having there with Reed back in the game, and now that's kind of out the window.
In the rushing department, Kevin Leyland leads the way, 13 carries, 39 yards. For Newberry, it's Dwayne Wright, 7 carries, 38 yards. They've been tough. Coleman Gray, the backup quarterback, had 2 carries for a net 29. One of those was a big run, Al. And then in the receiving department, you just don't see a whole lot going on on the Newberry side of things. Keith Desishore, 2 catches for 8 yards. Rico Dorsey, 2 catches for 3 yards. And on the other side, though, Trey Williams, 5 catches, 31 yards. DJ Black, 3 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, Newberry led by Elijah Vereen with 5 total tackles. Jalen Stratford with 4, I should say. Chucky Roach and Deveron Williams, who got injured as well, had 3 each. And on the side for Limestone, Lomax with 4. Janik with 3, Johnson with 3, and Young with 2. So those are some of the individual numbers.
Yeah, we kind of told you there, that Coleman Gray run, that was the longest play from scrimmage for the Newberry offense, a 34-yarder, net 29 on that one. And so, yeah, you don't want your quarterback needing to have to make a play like that. Again, where is the offense gone? Again, rushing yards, they're way down. Passing yards, way down. And that's why, unfortunately, they find themselves down on the scoreboard as well.
21-7. Before we leave, let's just listen in a little bit to the Scarlet Spirit Marching Band. Great job by them with their halftime show here today. It is homecoming on the campus of Newberry College, so we've got that information coming up. Also, Coach Hannah Dave and her team going to be honored here at halftime. They just won, or at least tied for the conference championship with none other than Limestone after their win over Converse earlier today. Let's take a 3-minute break, and we'll be back.
Tristan Sundell, and Benovian Miller.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like you to direct your attention to the field as we're going to recognize the 2024 South Atlantic Conference co-champion Newberry College Wolves field hockey team. With today's 4-3 win over Converse, the Wolves earn a share of their first ever South Atlantic Conference title, the #1 seed in next week's SAC postseason tournament, and they will host the semifinals and finals next Friday and Sunday here at Tesla Field. Today's win also broke a school record for most wins in a season with 15. How about a great round of applause for head coach Hannah Dave and your conference champion Wolves field hockey team. And at this time, we'd also like to recognize our homecoming court for 2024. They are Courtney Belton and Jameson City. Savannah
quarterbacks, Isaiah Whiteside, is not dressed today because he is injured. And so we are not going to see him. And we have seen a lot of Coleman Gray since Sharpie was injured. So we're told that the backup may be Clifton Davis.
Yeah, that's right, that we could possibly see him in here for the first time. He's listed officially as a wide receiver. But we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, Coleman Gray did a pretty good job over at Limestone a few weeks ago, so we'll see if they continue with him.
All right, Newberry will kick off from the 20-yard line as the officials just made that announcement that you were talking about, Al, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's against Newberry, kicking off at the 20-yard line.
So Bryce Early will do that from the 20. As we begin this second half, Limestone to get the football with that 21-7 lead. Here's the boot, and this is going to be taken down around the 11, 15, 20, 25, 31-yard line, and that is about all she wrote. So that's where Limestone will start. First and 10 from the 31. I believe that was Durisma, Tavion Durisma on the return, Cam Faircloth on the stop. So Limestone first and 10 at their own 31-yard line.
Well, needless to say, you got to get a stop here. You got to start stopping them. The defense has got to step up here. Again, 228 total yards for Limestone, but 172 of those through the air. That's the big one.
Here's the handoff straight ahead to Leyland. Newberry is all over him for no gain, led by Colby Taylor, who is probably a little hot under the collar right about now, if I had to guess. And it's no gain, second down 10.
I think we could guess that almost all of them might be hot under the collar right about now if you're Newberry.
If it was a cold day, you probably wouldn't need heat in the locker room,
exactly.
That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Second and 10. Long look to the sideline by the Limestone offense. 2 men each way. Leyland remains the running back with Dustin Nola the quarterback. Here's Nola back to throw. He passes the ball out complete to Williams. And Williams, who almost got caught in the backfield, manages to avoid the tackler and picks up a first down before Chucky Roach can make the stop. That gain all the way out to the 45-yard line.
Just by inches, huh? Luke Taylor, you mentioned, he was right there. He got a hand on him, but just couldn't bring him down.
First and 10, Limestone at their own 45, so they get a fresh set of downs. Nola back to throw, steps up, hangs it high. This one is up for grabs. It is caught. That is a touchdown. The receiver pushes off the defender, Vereen. No flag down on the play. That should have been interference, I do believe.
That was some sticky coverage down there. It could have been called, yeah, but nothing there. One of the offensive linemen hurt back over here.
And there is
an injured offensive player.
They do rule it a touchdown, however, but I swear it looked to me like Vereen got popped to the turf, and he's talking to one of the officials right
sure
now.
Is.
To no avail, I might add.
Well,
Elijah Vereen.
And we were talking about this pretty much. This is what Limestone's doing. Somehow they're just getting their coverage. They're getting their receivers downfield, getting behind the coverage, and then he's just letting it fly. And well, more often than not here as of late, it's been successful.
So the 28th point of the ball game for Limestone coming up here. Or at least the try for it. Here's the place, kick up. It's good. 13:39 to go in the third quarter. 28-7 Saints. Back in a minute.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we're going to come back.
The lead on to kick off for the Saints. Jordan Roberts and Jonah Morris back to receive the offering for the Wolves.
All right, 13:39 to go in the third quarter. Limestone scores again on their first possession of the second half on another bomb, and now they set to kick off to the Wolves. And here it is. Bit of a floater. Spells picks it up with a high hop at the 5. Quest 15, 20, bang down at the 25-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10. A lot of pushing and shoving going on down there.
Actually, that was number 46 on the return
Was
for
it?
Newberry. Yes, it was. That's Jordan Roberts, a linebacker, interestingly enough.
Today, who knows?
Yeah, I know. Even for Newberry's numbers, but I'm a little worried that the further Newberry gets further and behind, oh boy, it might get a little ugly at the end of this one. But hopefully not. Hopefully they can play their way back into this. It's still a long way to go.
Coleman Gray is the quarterback who comes out. We've got a timeout here. They said injured player, but I don't see one down there. That's what I thought I heard. Didn't have the ref's mic on.
Yeah, they're kneeling down, but I don't see anybody.
Oh, it's on the sideline
right down
below.
here.
Yeah,
we
now
can't-
I see him.
On the Newberry sideline.
Yep. One of the Wolves shaken up on the play. So back to the quarterback situation. Was told by Coach Knight earlier this week that Isaiah Whiteside reported that he had an injury and that he just hadn't mentioned it, I don't think, of late. But he didn't want to. His reasoning was he didn't want to hurt the team. Well, he's not dressed out today. It's Jer Harris who is the injured player. He is up. Anyway, so Whiteside's not dressed out. Coleman Gray pressed into duty. It looks like we're not going to see Reed Sharpie. I don't know that for certain, but I don't think we are. And so the backup will be Clifton Davis, who's listed, as you said, Al, as a wide receiver.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. I mean, obviously, if he's not coming out by now.
All right, here come the Wolves. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. Play action fake. Gray rolls to the left, and he is going to be smothered back at the 20. That's going to be a loss of, they're going to say 21. That's a loss of 5. It'll be 2nd and 11. It looked like he was trying to get Tommy Washington down the field, and Tommy was too close. I don't know if he was trying to block for him, or maybe that was the play. He was supposed to go to Tommy, but he just couldn't get it over there.
And Luke Janak over there to disrupt it.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for
Side.
Newberry.
Defense,
Oh,
number
they call
15.
offsides on
5 yards in the previous spot. Remains 1st down.
So that'll help the Wolves. It'll be 1st and 5 from the 31 there. Not an incomplete pass, so I guess in a way that was a free play.
Yeah, they just need some momentum here. Move the ball, get a score, just get a little hope, get a little positivity going right about now.
Dessasure wide left along with Martin. Here's the quarterback Gray on the run, and he's going to dive out to the 39-yard line before Sean Brown makes the stop. That'll be good for the 1st down. Well, baby steps, and that's one of them.
Well, he was the leading rusher, so might as well let him carry the ball. He's doing pretty good.
All right, so it'll be Dwayne Wright, the running back. Coleman's going to put 2 men to the right, 1 to the left. Hands it off to Dwayne. Dwayne off the left side. Cracks across the 45 to the 47-yard line before Luke Janik makes the stop. So there's a little positive movement here by the Wolves on this drive.
Yeah, get the 1st down, 2nd and short. That's where you want it.
So Newberry now 2nd down and 2 after a pickup of 8 there by Dwayne Wright. Wolves are going to put once again Martin and Dessasure to the left. Dorsey to the right. 1-on-1. Here's a throw underneath. That ball is batted away, intended for Luke Clyburn IV. There's a marker on the play as well. That thrown right as the ball was snapped, which would indicate either, false start.
Formation. 5 players in the backfield. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So illegal procedure or illegal formation, if you will. And Newberry's going to look now at second down and about 7 instead of 2nd and 2. They had Clyburn, the tight end, the redshirt sophomore from Camden, out near the 50, and he was open, but the ball got tipped and never got to him. Of course, the play would not have stood anyway. Dessisure in motion. They fake it to him. Give it off to Dwayne. Dwayne over the left side, pushing. Gets out to the 45-yard line before Jeffries makes the stop for Limestone.
Gets back a few of those yards.
It's going to bring up third down. It'll be third and maybe a little bit more than 3. More like third and a long 3, short 4. The ball at the 46. And they got to get it right to or just past the 49. Here's a throw. It's intercepted. Picked off by Malachi Ray.
Just a little bit underthrown there. He had the receiver, Dessisure, open, but just the up man on the coverage made a great play climbing up there and pulling it down.
So the Saints are going to take over 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line. And what looked like a little glimmer of hope there for the Wolves comes to a screeching halt.
1st and 10 for Limestone at their own 42
Yeah, they're just
yard line.
having trouble with the passing game right now. Only 28 yards still in this ball game.
28-7 the score, Limestone. All 28 of those points have been unanswered.
Yeah. You're right. We scored first. It was 7-0.
Trips left, one man right. Noller with the ever-present Leyland to his left. He hands it off to him. He darts up the middle, breaks across the 45 out to the 50. He'll get 8. It'll be second down 2. Charles Smith and Clarence Simmons on the tackle.
Gains to inside Newberry territory. Second down.
Ball just across the 50. 2nd and 2 for Limestone. 10:58 to go in the third quarter. Saints up with that 28-7 score. Handoff coming around and trying to jump over the intended tackler was Jalen Jones. He tries to go over Clarence Simmons. Is upended. Flag down on the play down the field at the Newberry 41 across the way.
It would have been spectacular had he made it, but Simmons just popped up and flipped him over.
Let's see what the flag is going to be all about. And I think we're finally ready to hear.
It's non.
What was that?
Not sure what.
The result of the play is a first down. We have sideline interference, Limestone. That's a team unsportsmanlike enforced 15 yards from the succeeding spot. It'll be first down and 10. No.
Okay, so now they're going to mark this off against Limestone. That's a penalty on the sideline across the way, or sideline interference. Takes the ball back to the Limestone 42.
Penalty places the ball at the
They do have the
45-yard
first
line.
down because they had picked it up. The result of the play was the first down, but they moved the ball back to the Saint 42-yard line. Newberry could use a turnover right here. Motion by Williams to the right. Now motion by Black. After Williams sets, they hand it off to Leyland. Leyland dives to just across the 45. He'll get 2.5, close to 3. Charles Smith on the stop. They do give him a solid 3-yard gain in the play. Second down, 7.
Gains to the 46-yard line.
Limestone moving right to left, leading 28-7 with 10 minutes to go in this third period. Hand off again. This time, Charles Smith on the stop of the Limestone runner. That was Leyland. It'll bring up third down here for the Saints and 6. Boy, Newberry they really almost have to have a stop right here.
Yeah, they're 7 of 9 on third down conversions. I mean, you got to climb in here. This is one way, right? One play at a time. Get the stop, get the ball back.
Newberry showing blitz as Luke Taylor had gone up in there. Now he backs off. Colby to the right of where Luke was coming up. Now Colby gets up in there again. So does Luke. Back to throw. Noller going to run out, throws, and it is first down as he completes that pass to Black. And Black is down to the Newberry 36 where Jonathan Sexton puts him to the turf. We got an injured Wolf on the play, but that's a first down Limestone at the Newberry 36. Injured player is Daquan Brunson. So,
Injured defensive player.
So we got a timeout for the injury. 8:53 remaining in the third period. Limestone up 28-7 on the Wolves. Newberry's quarterback, Reed Sharpia, injured in the ballgame in the first half. We went to the training room. We do not see him on the sideline, which is pretty good indication at this point we're not going to see him. So pressed into duty is the freshman.
Media timeout.
Coleman Gray, and he is now to be backed up, we believe, by Clifton Davis as Isaiah Whiteside is out and not dressed. Well, you just heard there we have a timeout on the field. 28-7 the score. 8:53 in the third, and we'll be back in a minute.
Special Marshal Brunson is able to work on the field. Which brings us to our media timeout.
That was good. I need to do one. Chug it.
And among the issues, as I mentioned a moment ago, some injuries.
Well, yeah, and of course, when it's your quarterback, we know what that can mean. Boy, that's pretty tough.
All right, Noller to receive the snap. He's got 3 men to the right, 2 to the left, so this is an empty backfield. 5 wide, back to throw, fires down the post, and it is caught, and that is a touchdown.
Touchdown.
Not even close.
No, he just got way behind the coverage, 6 or 7 yards behind, trailing.
And it's 34-7.
This completes to Mikey Jones.
$8:38
to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, what's really interesting here is, this is the Newberry defense. I mean, we haven't had a problem with the Newberry defense for the most part. And right now, just Limestone is just picking them apart deep. That's the only thing, just deep, but they are very effective at doing that.
Yeah, that's about 3 or 4 bombs now for Noller. Here's the kick up. It's good. 35-7 Limestone with 8:38 to go, third period, back in 60 seconds.
Limestone 35, Newberry 7. Wilson Tractor is a family-owned and operated business since 1984.
49.
They offer a wide selection of tractors, equipment, and parts Stop by Photo 440 Wilson Road for all your track
All right, we got all finals.
Whether you're an elite athlete or a weekend warrior, you can trust the sports medicine experts at Prisma Health. In addition to being the official team physicians of the Newberry Wolves, Prisma Health's team of athletic trainers and physicians take care of athletes all over the Midlands area.
All right, back here at Setzler Field. By the way, the young man who returned the last kickoff to Newberry is Sharon Jackson, who is on the updated roster here.
Okay,
he is a running back, freshman. He's to the near side. Jonah Norris over to the far side. So Quez Spells, who normally is back there, is not back there. And here it is. It's going to come down to Jackson once again, a couple of yards deep in the end zone. He's going to
Takes the knee in the end zone.
take the better part of valor and take a knee back there, and Newberry will get it 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line.
25-yard line.
Now, I did have this updated roster, so that explains that. Back to the scoreboard, and everybody's final but this one.
Yeah, we did, and got a couple more finals for you. Barton has defeated Catawba 49-35, and Carson Newman has defeated Anderson 28-7. The only South Atlantic Conference game, this one right here.
All right, we're still going on here. 35-7, though, the score. And here is a run to the right side and out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Little end-around play there. Newberry giving that off.
Is that Ja'Cory Martin as QB?
It was Martin. He was actually receiving the snap there.
Now, Quez is in the backfield along with him, but it looks like it's Ja'Cory Martin as quarterback now.
That's what it looks like to me.
Oh, boy.
Martin hands it off to Spells, and he's hitting the backfield for a loss back at the 36-yard line. And, of course, the Limestone guy stands over him. It'll be a loss of about 3. It'll be 2nd and 13. So you've got Quanta Jackson out wide to the left now. Here's motion by Jackson. They fake it to him. Martin back to throw, being chased, rolls out to the left, and now going to try to run, and he's going to get shoved out of bounds across the way. See where they spot it out. It's going to bring up a 3rd down. They're going to spot. Oh, they say he stepped out back at the 33.
Wow.
I thought he got beyond the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, me too. He was way over there, but didn't realize he had stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, so 3rd and 13 it still is here. Spells in the backfield. And Ja'Cory Martin, the freshman from Greenville, at quarterback. Martin rolls to the right, now fires down the field, and that pass is caught. What a catch. Keith Desaussure up in the air, hit hard by Lomax, but Desaussure hangs on. And some mouthing going on by Limestone on the Newberry sideline below.
And in case you're wondering, 0 for 7 now on 3rd downs, Newberry.
It's 4th down now for the Wolves and 4 yards to go from the 43. Here's the snap back. Punt is away. End over end kick. Takes a Newberry roll toward the middle of the field. Still rolling. And will be down right at about the 10-yard line. And that's where Limestone will start. 1st and 10.
And that's where the Saints will begin their drive.
Actually do mark it back at the 9-yard line.
And just past halfway here in the 3rd quarter. Just got away from him here. Those big plays for Limestone.
Yeah, the about 3 bombs. If you look at their scores, a 40-yard pass, then a 2-yard run, a 3-yard run, a 55-yard pass, and a 36-yard pass.
Yeah, just big ones. Getting behind the coverage.
So Limestone 1st and 10 from their own 9. See if the defense can come up with something here. Hand off straight ahead, bouncing off, and Newberry swarms on and knocks Leyland to the turf. That might be the shortest gain, if no gain, that he's had all day. 2nd and 10.
Well, just got to try to, stiffen up here, get the stop. I mean, there's still time, but you've got to start taking advantage of every opportunity here on a possession.
2nd and 10, ball at the 9. Limestone moving out of the shadow of their own goalpost. 5:47 to go, third period. They're up 35-7. Here's the handoff again. Leyland coming out, dives, won't go down, and he picks up a first down all the way out at the 23-yard line. Clarence Simmons finally puts him to the turf along with Mayers. Kevin Leyland, a 5'10", 175-pound sophomore. Not big, but pretty strong runner.
Yeah, he ran over Jalen Stratford right there. He's about the same height and size.
Limestone picks up a 1st and 10 at their own 23. Here he goes again, trying to dart outside, then back to the inside, and Newberry knocks him down at the line of scrimmage, no gain. Luke Taylor in there to put the stop on him. They're going to give him maybe a yard. Generous spot, 2nd and 9. Limestone's going to set up with 3 men to the right. They're going to put 1 man, Williams, to the left. Quarterback is Dustin Noller. Puts a man in motion, takes the snap, hands off again to Leyland. Newberry squashes him right at the line of scrimmage. Definitely no gain that time, and it'll be 3rd down 9.
Well, you look at Noller as QB here. I mean, he's 14 of 18. Now, he did give up the early interception to Keyshawn Glover, but out of those 14 completions, 290 yards. He's averaging almost 21 yards per pass.
3rd and 9. Newberry's got to have a stop here. There's a flag down. This is a free play. It goes out in the flat to Leyland. Leyland across the 30, fights. Gets close to a first down, but I think this penalty, Newberry jumped into the neutral zone. I thought maybe they might have gotten back, but the official doesn't think so. We'll see if that's the case. One of the defenders on that left side did jump, but apparently did not get back in time. See if they take the play or the penalty here.
Offside. Defense, number 11. 5 yards from the previous spot. It'll remain 3rd down.
So it would have been, well, but the game would have been out near the 30, just over the 30, but they're going to get an extra down basically here as they move the ball to the 29.
Yeah, they might. They were going to be a little short on the first down anyway, so you might as well take the yardage and go now 3rd and short.
Exactly, 3rd down from the 29. They got to get to the 33. So 3rd and 4. Noller back to throw. Fires underneath, incomplete, intended for Leyland, and Chucky Roach lowers the boom on him as the ball gets away. That'll be 4th down, and for one of the few times of late for sure.
Well, they're 8 of 11 overall, so it's going to make it 8 for 12.
Limestone's going to have to punt away.
When you think about it, those are excellent numbers. I mean, 8 of 12 on 3rd downs. I mean, that is what you want to be doing out there.
That'll win you a lot of ball games for sure.
Absolutely. 75%.
Mathis back for Newberry to receive the punt, standing at the 33-yard line. Here's the snap, a little high, but Limestone gets it away. Mathis lets it hit. It bounces straight up in the air, then takes a Limestone roll down near the 25-yard line. And so that's where Newberry will start 1st and 10. So what are we going to see here? Remember, Whiteside, the junior, not dressed. Reed Sharpia, injured. Coleman Gray was the quarterback.
They're not in there now again.
Yep, looks like it's going to be Ja'Cory Martin once again. who's going to take the snap.
He's got Traquel Murray out there beside him.
So Murray is the running back. Newberry has 2 wide receivers each way. And here's a roll to the right. And he's going to tuck and run. 30, 35, out near the 37-yard line. That's a first down. They're going to spot it at the 36. Ty Kao, or Cade, I should say, on the stop. Can't even read my own writing.
Well, every drive from here on out needs to be a touchdown, basically. You know, we were doing the high school game last night. Newberry, they had 7 possessions in the entire game. They scored on all 7 possessions. It can be done.
45-0.
Bulldogs won 45-0. Number
right.
1 still in the region.
Here's a give to Desashore, trying to find some room. Cuts back to the middle and dives down. They're going to say started the slide at the line of scrimmage, so no gain. Second down 10. In the NFL, that would have been about a 2-yard gain.
No gain on the play, second down.
2:34 remaining in the third period. Limestone up 35-7. Limestone showing a little bit of a blitz look here, and now there's a timeout called.
Timeout. Limestone, they're first. This will be a 30-second timeout.
2:27 remaining in the third quarter, 35-7. Let's take a half-minute break. We'll be right back.
Looking to keep up with all things Newberry athletics? Look no further than Worms Weekly. This half-hour on-demand program covers the competition and coach of Newberry athletics. This shoot-and-run show includes game analysis and predictions and features stories on Newberry's diverse community. You can view Worms Weekly on today. Bobby can help you find your personal place in Newberry. For Bobby Shealy with Lane Properties.
All right, second down 10. Newberry with the football at their own 37-yard line. 2:27 to play in the third period. So we got 17 minutes, 27 seconds to try to make some sort of a comeback without a quarterback, basically.
With a quarterback who has not played at all this year.
And here he goes on the run, 40, 45, and very close to a first down on the run is Ja'Cory Martin across the way.
Well, that's what he can do for you. You know, he can run very well, so he's one of those kind of scampering quarterbacks. Maybe that's the way to do it.
He does pick up the 1st and 10, and as you said, he's a receiver, a freshman, remember, out of Greenville, and when he catches the ball, he knows how to run with it, and he shows that right there. 1st and 10 out at the Newberry 47-yard line. Martin hands it off to Murray, and Murray is going to push for maybe a yard, perhaps 2 to the 49, and it's going to bring up second down and 8 yards to go.
Well, actually, one thing that we've noticed here is both of the defensive lines have been pretty good. They have not allowed much through the middle. You see here Newberry trying to probe that there with Traquel Murray, nothing doing there. For the most part, it's working when they spread things out and through the air for the most part.
Yeah, and that those guys up front, 290, 275 for Limestone. 2 of them. Now a fake of a handoff, and now here he goes. On the run is Murray. First down to the Limestone 39-yard line. Matt Howard on the stop.
Yeah, you can just see how he finds a little hole, and then he just accelerates right through it. That little burst of speed is what did it right there to move the chains once again.
6 feet, 170, freshman from Greenville, Ja'Cory Martin.
1 minute to go here in the quarter. I'd love to see him get it in there real quickly. Try to score here and launch into the fourth quarter and see what you need.
Tight formation here, a couple of wings. Motion off the right side. Play action fake. And here's a throw, and that one's going to, we got a flag down in the secondary here. And the man putting the rush on Martin is also down for Limestone. Markers on the play. Jonathan Williams.
Almost had an interception.
He sure did, but
there was some stuff back here. Yeah, Desashore was back there fighting with another defender. Let's see what they're going to call. It was right around that area.
This might go either way. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. It could.
Marker down at the 20. That's where the throw was supposed to go.
And it was a little short. That's why the Limestone player, Williams, almost intercepted it.
All right, here we go.
Prior to the pass, holding. Number 12, defense. 10 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Well, there's one that goes Newberry's way. Takes the ball to the 29-yard line. It'll be a first down for the Wolves. 41 seconds to go, third period. Newberry down by a bunch, 35-7, but trying to make something happen with Ja'Cory Martin running the offense. Trips to the left, two men to the right. This is an empty backfield for Martin. And the ball gets loose. He has to fall on it back at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, the handoff just wasn't really clean. Murray just couldn't hang on to it. It falls. He runs by it. Thank goodness
Moving on
Martin
the
was
field
right
is a
there to
fumble
fall on
recovered
it.
by the offense. Second down.
So Newberry loses about 5 on that play. It'll be second down and 15. The ball now back at the 34-yard line. Traquel Murray remains the running back. He'll be to the left of Martin. Two wide receivers each way. Back to throw. Now going to try to run up the middle is Martin, and he's going to be stopped. He'll be sacked. 37-yard line. Bring up third down. That's the end of the third period of play. That tackle made by Preston Hamilton, one of the defensive tackles. The end of 3, 35-7 Limestone. We'll be back in a minute.
Please welcome to the field, your Newberry College cheer team and dance team. Education Lottery provides scholarships for South Carolinians. They have 3 different levels in the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellows. Students can also receive South Carolina tuition grants.
And over 1 on 4th down.
All right, back here at Setzer Field, 13:37 to go, 35-7. Not sure what's going on with the stats downstairs, but we just gave you Leyland's numbers a moment ago, and now they say 23 attempts, 94 yards, an average of 4 and 1 touchdown. Well, that's not what we told you earlier, but that's what it says now, so I don't know. All right, Limestone 1st and 10 at the Newberry, at their own 46, I should say. Nolan steps up. Here goes another bomb, and that one is too long, incomplete.
Pass is incomplete. 2nd down.
Same play, same nightmare. This time it didn't complete.
Yes, I mean, just overthrew it, and it looks like the receiver's down in the end zone.
Yeah, he got a kind of a shove after the ball went by. That is Elijah Vereen down there who is checking on him. I think what happened, just as the ball was coming,
He pushed him a little.
he did.
Referee kind of had a little talk with him. Not sure what that was about.
No flag on the play, but the receiver is down, so we've got an injury timeout. 13:22 to go here in this ball game. And as we check on some scores here once again on the Lancero Lounge scoreboard. 4th quarter, Oregon all over Michigan, 31-17. 3rd quarter, how about this? Florida, Georgia at the big cocktail party, all tied at 13 apiece. Texas Tech leading Iowa State, 17-16, 4th quarter. Indiana 47, Michigan State 10, 4th quarter. And Kansas State out in front of Houston, 16-10 there in the 3rd. Coming up later, Texas A&M at South Carolina. We'll have that for you when we're done. Of course, Louisville playing at Clemson tonight also at 7:30. Coming up later, Kentucky, Tennessee, Pitt, SMU. Earlier today, Ohio State beat Penn State in a big one, 20-13. All right, here we go. 2nd down, 10. Limestone scrimmaging from their own 46. Nolan throws it out to Leyland, and Leyland is dragged down for a loss back at the 44-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 12. Chucky Roach on the play.
Now to bring up 3rd down. Make some noise for this Rams defense.
So this will be 3rd and 12.
Chucky's pretty hot under the gun.
Yeah, I would think so.
Made a great play, by the way. But then one of the offensive guys, he kind of held on to his foot. He was trying to get up, and he kind of was lifted, and he was kind of not too happy with that.
3rd and 12 now for Limestone. We'll see if they go over the top on this one. They've done that several times today and now this evening. And play action fake, and this time Noller's going to go down in the arms of Colby Taylor, who sacks him way back at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, nice job getting around the defensive end right there. Colby Taylor wraps him up. Pocket collapsed. They're going to have to punt it away.
So it'll be 4th down from the Limestone 38-yard line.
They've only punted 2 times prior to this. 44-yard average.
4th and about 19 yards to go here. Newberry puts 10 men up. Here's the kick. It is a high wobbly spiral. Fair catch. And Newberry just kind of runs away from it, and it's going to be down right around the 15-yard line. So that's where Newberry will start.
That'll raise the punt average. That was a pretty nice one.
Yep.
At the 19-yard line.
Less than 12 minutes to go in this one.
Looking down to see if Paul had anything for us, but I don't think so at this point.
Yeah, he's been down there, and I know he was telling us, even going back to that Catawba game, that there's a lot of stuff, words flying around down there. Even the fans were getting in on it at that point. But, of course, we were up at Catawba, a little bit maybe different down here.
1st and 10. Martin takes the snap, going to run with it. And he'll be across the 20, out near the 22-yard line.
Goes to the 21-yard line, 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd and 8. Jackson to the right. 2 men to the right, 2 men to the left, so double slots here for the Wolves. Jonah Norris is now the running back for Newberry on 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Back to throw. Now going to run to the right. And here's a pass up the sideline, and that one is incomplete, intended for Quante Jackson. So the Wolves are going to look at 3rd down and 8. Too many of those today.
Way too many, and they still have not converted a single 3rd down tonight. 0 for 8.
Ouch.
It's been a bit of a problem all season long for the most part. And by the way, the Limestone offense, after that last sequence there, just passed 403 yards of offense. Newberry, 159.
Pass play here, and Martin runs away, fires up the field, and he has a catch made there by Newberry. Nice catch there by Rico Dorsey Jr., and that's a 1st down out to the 41, and boy, did Newberry need that one.
Boy, sure did. He was just kind of sneaking along here, got away from the coverage after Martin was scrambling back there. He sees him, plants the feet, goes up, gets it, has the nice catch.
A really nice scramble there, too, by Martin to get away to make that throw. Here's a handoff to Norris going right side, trying to turn the corner. He'll get a yard, and that is all. 2nd and 9. Luke Janik on the stop for Limestone. 10.5 to go. Limestone 35, Newberry 7. Well, that window kind of opened for Newberry in the Piedmont division, but it's trying to shut back.
Yeah, we were saying they're 3-2. With a win, they could leapfrog Limestone in the standings.
Here's the play action fake. And now look at this. And he's gonna, he dives. How in the world he got away from about 2 or 3 Limestone defenders and dives ahead to pick up positive yardage, but not nearly enough as he gets the ball out to the 44-yard line. Looked a little bit like Houdini there.
Yeah, he knew he was that was the end of the rope for him. And so at the very end, he just goes, I'm getting what I can, and dives forward. And he gets a few yards.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 7 here for Newberry from the 44.
Let's see if we can convert it for the first time. Come on.
Trips right, 1 man left. Martin back to throw over the middle. It's caught. That is a 1st down, and that's the first 3rd down conversion of the day. That goes to Tyleek Mathis at the 45 of Limestone.
1 for 9. All right. Well, you look for the little victories. That's about all you can do right about now.
At this point, with 9:10 to go, we'll take any positivity we can get.
Yeah. Now, one thing also is that as soon as they started stretching out, especially that last sequence in the final minute before the halftime, they kind of took the crowd out of it as well.
Here's Martin on a run to the left. Out of bounds, the 40. He'll get 5. It'll be 2nd down 5. Luke Janik on the stop. That little 5-yard run, that's pretty good.
It is. Janik chasing him out once again. We've called his name a lot. I think he's had enough. I think he's going to the sideline.
So your receivers are Mathis and Dorsey to the near side, and you've got Holloway to the right, along with Jackson. So those are your 4 wide receivers.
Haven't heard too much from Quante Jackson today.
Nope. The last couple of weeks, quite frankly.
Yeah, he's been receiving the punts and kicks and that kind of stuff.
And Martin's going to go down. Hit from behind, a loss back at the 43-yard line, Matt Wilwell comes in behind him and knocks him to the turf. It's going to bring up third down and about 8 now for the Wolves.
Yeah, and that's just been it. They've just gotten behind the 8 ball here every time they do face a second or third down. It's very long, and they're just having a lot of trouble.
So 3rd and 8, Newberry with the ball at the Limestone 43, down 35-7, inside 8 minutes to go here in this homecoming affair at Setzler Field. Back to throw. Over it goes. Jackson, the intended receiver, a little too tall. He's covered on the play by Matt Howard. And that'll be 4th and 8.
You had said earlier 28 unanswered points. Well, they've made it 35 unanswered points. Remember, opening drive, Newberry, second drive, excuse me. First one was 3 and out, but drove the field, got the touchdown, led 7-0. Thought we were doing pretty good at that point. Oh, boy, turned around.
And then later in the first half, after Limestone had put a couple on the board, here's the punt by Nettles. Goes into the end zone for the touchback.
Yeah, it was 14-7. I mean, you were still right in there. But then, again, that last minute there where they had the big play and then scored really quickly in 1 minute time to go down 21-7 for Newberry at the half. That just really, I think, demoralized them a little.
And, of course, to add insult to injury, Reed Sharpie, the quarterback, goes down, went to the locker room. They came out with Coleman Gray, and he did pretty well. I'm not sure. I don't guess he got hurt. But
we'll have to look for him down here.
We were told that Clifton Davis, who's listed as a wide receiver, might be the backup, but they went with Ja'Cory Martin, and Ja'Cory's done a pretty darn good job, quite frankly.
He has good running skills, like we were talking about here. Pretty good arm, too. He was able to throw some passes.
So Limestone takes over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line, and we've got a flag down on the play. Well, we've had lots of
False
hankies.
start. Number 80, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
A lot of hankies on the field here at Setzler today and this evening.
Yeah, let's take a look at those numbers. For Newberry, 7 flags, 70 yards. For Limestone, 7 flags, 65 yards.
1st and 15 for Limestone now, back at their own 15-yard line. Noller hands it off to Leyland. Leyland off the left side. And they just can't bring him down.
No.
He's going to fight his way out to the 28-yard line. That's a gain. Well, that's 8 yards from the original line of scrimmage. 13-yard gain there, and it's going to be 2nd and 2, just like that.
And he had Elijah Vereen hanging on for dear life before Mayer got over there and helped him out.
All right, let's make it a 12-yard run. They mark the ball back at the 27. And they give it to him again, and he just dives up the middle to the 30, or just shy of the 30. That's where he had to get. It's going to be short, I think, by a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1 to go here for Limestone. 6:51 to go in the game.
Yeah, it's going to get really short now. They're just going to keep it if they can move the chains. No hurry offense here. Just going to hand it off, keep it going, kill this clock, get out of here, and spoil our homecoming.
Yep. But we do still have the Founders Federal Credit Union fireworks display coming up. Here's a give to Leyland, and he's dumped for no gain. It's going to be 4th down, and maybe Newberry has forced him to punt again here. So it'll be 4th and at least 2, and Limestone is going to send out the punt unit. So Newberry College football presented by Founders Federal Credit Union, and they will sponsor the fireworks display after homecoming.
Awesome.
You know, we were at Catawba, spoiled their homecoming.
Oh, that's right.
They had to watch the fireworks after we beat them.
Yeah,
I guess we're going to know the feeling.
Yeah, I guess so. One last road game, by the way, next week.
Next week to Wingate.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Excuse me, Wingate.
Wingate, that's right.
Here's the kick. Wobbly spiral. They're going to let it hit. And now it's going to be picked up. And here's a run now by Newberry. Look at this, 50, 45, and out of bounds down below. Nifty little return there by Newberry's Tyleek Mathis. He kind of snookered him a little bit, if you will. Aeneas Dean on the stop. He acted like he was not going to take the ball, and then it popped right to him, and he took off and overran the coverage.
Yeah, he sure did. Just found a lane over here on the near sideline. Unfortunately, it closed up on him there before Dean pushed him out of bounds, but They're going to start it off in Limestone territory.
Well, I guess the coverage overran him, is what I should say.
Yeah,
but nevertheless,
passed him by.
1st and 10 from the 42. So a nice return there by Tyleek Mathis, the sophomore from Saluda.
No late games anymore as well. 1:30 next week, and then the final home game, I believe it's at 1 o'clock.
I think you might be right. Here he goes again, straight up the middle, and this is going to be a touchdown for the Wolves. How about that one?
Right through the middle.
Right up the gut by Martin, touchdown. He can fly.
He sure can. My goodness. And he's kind of a small stature guy, so he can fit right through a little tiny hole in the offensive line.
Listed at 6 feet 170.
Early on to take the extra point.
Nicely done.
Yes, sir. Sure makes you feel a little bit better.
We can do 3 more of those.
Here's the kick. It is up, and it is good. 5:31 to go here in the ball game. Limestone 35, Newberry 14, and we'll be back in just a minute.
5:31 remaining in the game. And the score, Limestone 35, Newberry 14.
They must have run out of battery.
Early on to kick off.
Limestone anticipating the onside kick. They got some sure hands folks up front here as well. A lot of receivers as Newberry sets to kick away. Bryce Early to do the honors, and he is going to boot this one deep. And that one's going into the end zone for the touchback.
Kickoff goes to the end zone.
So Newberry kicks it into the end zone. 5:31 to go. 35-14. Limestone will have the football now. 1st and 10 out at the 25-yard line.
Offside. Kicking team, number 21. 5 yards will be added to the touchback. First down.
So that's going to put them out at the 30-yard line, obviously.
Correction, it was number 41.
All right, so Xavier Clyburn, according to my roster, is the Newberry player who was offside. 1st and 10 for Limestone at the 30. Comfortably ahead 35-14 with 5.5 to go here in the ball game.
A little turnover, make them sweat a little.
That would happen. That would help.
Score again, you know.
Here's a handoff over the left side. Looks like they've decided to give Leyland a little rest here.
A pretty big dude back there.
Yeah, that is Preston Lowndes, according to our roster. Lowndes has a few pounds to his. He's a 250-pound, 5'11" graduate. That's a big horse back there.
You're going to need a little help to bring him down.
You sure are. He picks up 5, roughly. Almost 5. We'll call it 2nd and a long 5 to go. Pounds the back up to Leyland. And I think Leyland has certainly done his job this afternoon and this evening. And here goes Pounds pounding up the middle. Or Lowndes pounding up the middle, and he just rockets out to the 48-yard line.
And 2 Wolves are kind of down.
Yeah, they ran together, I think. One of them is Vereen.
Yep.
The other one looks like Kobe. Is that Kobe or Luke? I think it's Luke. Yeah, it's Luke Taylor, but he's up.
Timeout for an injured defensive player.
So Vereen is down. Luke shaking off whatever that was, and so we've got a timeout on the field. 4:28 to go here in the ball game. 35-14. Beautiful day here weather-wise. Lots and lots of people, both young and old alike, have come back to the campus. I'm telling you something. I know I'm prejudiced. But for a small college, this place puts on about as good a homecoming celebration as you're going to find anywhere.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And always a pleasure to see the old students coming back.
I saw a few old ones today myself.
And you're sporting a little piece of jewelry here, I believe they gave you. Nice medal.
Yeah, they gave us a 50th reunion medallion.
Wow, awesome. Congratulations.
Went by fast.
Yeah. You start putting the years on. I'm feeling it too. Goes by fast.
Yeah, you were a young man when you started working with me.
Yeah.
You're still younger.
High school basketball in, what year was that? That was 2011.
Was it really?
Still going. Looking forward to calling the Bulldogs once again this year.
Now you got some more football to do before
That's
then.
right. Little bit more. We may be going into Thanksgiving the way the football Bulldogs are going this year.
It sure looks that way.
Yeah.
Because they extended the season by a week, which pushes the playoffs back by a week.
Yeah, and if we're number one, which we currently are, we just got to win next week, and we will be the number one seed. And a couple of home games, that never hurts. You win a couple of rounds, and, yeah, we're going to be into Thanksgiving and possibly beyond.
All right, 1st and 10 for Limestone from their own 48-yard line. And there's a mix-up in the backfield, but it's going to be a positive play anyway. Another running back in there. Looks like Logan Coldren had come in. And he's going to pick up down to the 46-yard line of Newberry. Roach and Mayer on the stop. That'll be a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. 3:28 remaining, and the clock is running. Limestone 35, Newberry 14.
Yeah, they just have had the possession. Can kill the clock here in this 4th and final quarter. Gave up the big run there, but up 35-14. No big deal for them for the most part.
You know, last year at Limestone, they beat Newberry on the last play of the game.
Yeah, needing basically a whole field to go with hardly what I think, wasn't it like a minute or a minute and a half?
If that much.
And they did it, yeah.
Yeah, Newberry's going to run down the running back here. Nowhere to go for Cauldron this time. He's going to be stopped. They give him forward progress to the 47. That's a loss of a yard. Charles Smith on the stop. 2:45 to go, and you know, Limestone right here, they're not in any hurry, obviously.
Yeah, and I don't think Newberry is going to be calling timeouts and all this kind of stuff. I mean, we're just too far behind now, down by 21.
Limestone comes up to the line of scrimmage, 15 seconds on the play clock. 3rd down and 5, back to throw. That pass is intercepted by the Wolves, and this may go. Let's see. No, it's not going to go, but Newberry's going to have it at the 25-yard line. That pass thrown by Jaden Stinson, a junior backup quarterback, and Tay Shazolza makes the stop, and Newberry's going to have this football down at the Limestone. Let's see where they spot this thing, right at the 25-yard line.
Well, on second thought, that might change the deal here a minute late. You've got all 3 timeouts. If you can score quickly, onside kick, get it back, you never know. 3 times, do it again.
Newberry with a pick there.
Hope springs eternal, huh?
Absolutely. 4 wide receivers now for, quote, quarterback Ja'Cory Martin. And Martin on the run turns the corner and is bumped out of bounds down near the 10-yard line. And that'll be 1st down. Let's see if it's 1st and goal, depending on the spot. I think it's going to be right at the 10. Joachim Lowry on the stop for Limestone.
Brings us to the 2-minute timeout.
2 minutes to go. We've got a timeout on the field. Newberry will have it first, and is it going to be goal to go, or is it going to be 1st and 10, depending on the spot? We'll check on that and be back with that story in a minute.
Volleyball is home on Saturday, November the 9th at 7 p.m. Triathlons competing at the National Championship in Clearmont, Florida. And women's and men's basketball and wrestling all start their seasons as well. Head to NewberryWolves.com to keep up with all the action. Our attendance For homecoming 2024, 3,212, we thank you for your support of Newberry College athletics and Wolves football. Next week, your Wolves head on the road up to Wingate to take on the Bulldogs. That is a 1:30 kickoff from Wingate, North Carolina. Our final home game of the season finale, will be Saturday, November 16th, as we take on the Wasps of Emory and Henry University. That's the 1 p.m. kickoff, and it'll be senior day.
Well, 2 minutes to go in this football game. Newberry down 35-14, but they've got an interception, and now they have pushed the ball down to the 10, and it is 1st and goal for the Wolves. So they can make things a little more respectable here.
Multiple interceptions here for this game.
Yeah, the first one led to the Newberry drive, which
Keyshawn Glover
ended
there
on
on
a
that one.
touchdown. Well, when you're in a situation like this, you want a couple of positives to build on, and I'd say we've gotten that taken care of here.
First and goal for the Wolves.
Well, back in there at running back is Dwayne Wright. And Dwayne the Train is the man you want on 1st and goal. As Martin pitches it. And this is going right side with the ball. Dorsey.
With the end around.
See where they say he stepped out of bounds. Going to be right about the 8.
Second down and goal at the
It'll be
8.
2nd and goal from the 8-yard line.
Yeah, trying a little pitch there, end around, getting to the far side. Just couldn't really do it. Defense stretched him out to the sideline.
So 2nd down goal to go for the Wolves at the 8-yard line. 1:56 to go. Clock stopped after he ran out of bounds. Right to the left of Martin. Martin gives it to Dwayne. He goes right. He's not going anywhere. They just swarm on Newberry's running back. And he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. First man there, Preston Hamilton.
Third down.
3rd and goal for the Wolves. Ball still at the 8-yard line. Trips coming left. That's Jackson along with Mathis and Dorsey to the left side. Tight end is on the right. Ja'Cory Martin will await the snap with Dwayne Wright to his left. Martin to throw. Now going to run out to the right side. Now going to come back this way. Sidesteps a would-be tackler. Here he goes. Turns the corner. 10, 5, and down he goes at the 4-yard line. Boy, he ran 1.5 miles to get to the 4. It's going to be 4th down.
He did. He was looking to the right, went all the way to the sideline almost. Reversed field, came all the way to this near sideline. Took a lot of time off, and, of course, didn't go out of bounds. So it's going to keep the clock running. Now it stops.
Yeah, Newberry's going to take a timeout.
Well, I'm not sure why they didn't do that about 20
Timeout,
seconds
Newberry.
ago.
They're
Could have
first.
saved a little time there, but I guess they're just going to put their energies into maybe trying to score right here, make it a little more respectable, like you said.
35-14 the score. We'll hold it right here with only 46 ticks left.
4th down, though.
Yep, 4th and goal. The ball is down at the 5-yard line. We'll have the South Carolina Texas A&M broadcast. They're scheduled to kick off at 7:30. Clemson also playing at home against Louisville. That's another big one. Both of those games on TV tonight as well. Should be close to kickoff when we're done here. 46 seconds left, 35-14. Limestone with the lead. Newberry 4th down goal to go from the 5-yard line.
Tournament for field hockey. Right here sets the field on next week.
So now we'll see what Newberry dials up here. They're going to try to go for the touchdown. Field goal really not going to do you any good with only 46 seconds.
Would cut the score in half, I guess.
Exactly.
35-17, but that's about it. Kind of.
Trips right. Tight end left. Martin awaiting the snap. Right to his left. Martin rolls out to the right side, being chased. He runs away. Now going to be hammered way back out at the 8-yard line where that drive started. And it's Luke Janik who runs him down, but Newberry unable to capitalize on that possession. So 38 ticks left in this ball game. Both teams have 2 timeouts. I don't know that Limestone will certainly use any of theirs, but really probably no need for the Wolves to use any of theirs either.
Nah, just one victory snap, and that probably will be it.
So Limestone comes in, spoils Newberry's homecoming. Limestone will have it 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line. That's interesting because I thought he went out of bounds at the 8. Maybe not. Anyway, Limestone's going to take a snap here. They'll go into victory formation. They got a man about 9 yards deep in the end zone as a safety as well. And they bunch up. Here's the drop to the knee.
We'll take a knee.
And that's going to be it as both teams, players enter the field here. Limestone's going to win it by the score of 35-14. This one is all over. We'll take a 2-minute break and be back for the post-game show. This and this. I'm going to save this roster. Heck, I'll throw it away. Got a new one next week.
Congratulations to Coach Jericho Costry and his Limestone Saints and defeat Newberry 35-14.
Yeah, I'm done with that too.
SAC and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Using a licensed sales agent like SAC doesn't cost you anything. New to the area or just have questions? SAC can help you transition to South Carolina coverage and give you the answers you need.
Yeah.
These are insurance consultants at 803-732-7284. That's 803-732-7284 or visit siconsultants.com. SIC is an authorized agent for Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association. Call 803-732-7284 today.
Once again, congratulations to the Saints of Limestone. They defeat Newberry College 35-14. Wolves on the road next week at Wingate. 1:30 kickoff from Wingate, North Carolina. Can't make that trip. Check all the action on WKDK 1240 AM, 101.7 FM. Jimmy Coggins and Abdel Chico will have the call. We'll return home on the 16th. It is senior day.
All right, back here at Setzer Field, our final score tonight. Limestone defeats Newberry on homecoming day, 35-14. Let's get to the scoring. Newberry scored first at 4:37 in the first quarter. Dwayne Wright takes it in from 16 yards away. 5 plays, 52 yards on the drive. Bryce Early's kick up and good. Wolves led 7-0, but then Limestone scored 5 times before Newberry would score again. 2:08 to go. They get a 40-yard touchdown pass. That's 2:08 in the first. 4 minutes in the second. They get a 2-yard run. 42 seconds in the second. They get a 3-yard run. 13:39 to go in the third. They get a 55-yard touchdown pass. 8:30 to go in the third. They get a 36-yard touchdown pass. So those are the 5 scores for Limestone, and they were up at that point by the score of 35-7. Newberry, of course, would get their final score of the game when Ja'Cory Martin took off up the middle and scampers 42 yards. That's right. He took the snap and scampered up the middle, 42 yards for the touchdown. Bryce Early's kick good. One play, 42 yards on that drive. And Newberry scored what would be its last touchdown of the night as Limestone wins it 35-14. And again, one of the keys in this football game was the fact that Reed was hurt, didn't come back. Coleman Gray did see some action, and he was then, we wondered, what was going to happen if something happened to him, and we were told that there may be one of the wide receivers, but as it turned out, it was a wide receiver who came in. It was Martin, and he did a pretty darn good job, quite frankly.
Yeah, and we actually didn't see Coleman Gray again, so we kind of have to wonder there was something going on there, too, because I didn't even see him on the sideline, so I don't know. But he did do a good job. He can scamper. He can run pretty well. Had a nice run right at the middle for the touchdown. And who knows? I mean, if you're going to have a season like this where it's kind of, unfortunately, musical chairs at quarterback, and, boy, that's the one position you don't want to have to go through that. And, unfortunately, this year, Newberry has.
All right, as we mentioned, one more road trip to go, 1:30 up at Wingate next week. So our tailgate show will begin at high noon. Let's take a look at the final stats.
All right, and it's kind of strange because most of them, as you look at them, they're pretty even, which is kind of interesting, except for one or two of them. We'll get to those. For Limestone, 18 first downs in the game, 40 rushes for 150 yards on the ground. Through the air, 14 of 21, 2 interceptions, 290 yards, 61 plays, 440 offensive yards. Time of possession was, 30-46. There you go. 4 punts, 41-yard average, 8 penalties for 70 yards, and on third downs, they ended up 8 of 14. For Newberry, 17 first downs, 42 rushes for 190 yards. Through the air, 9 of 20, but only 67 passing yards. That's where Newberry really got hurt, I think. They just did not bring the receivers into play here for this game. Newberry actually had one more offensive play than Limestone did. 62 plays, 257 offensive yards here tonight. Each team had 2 interceptions, by the way, and also Limestone coughed it up once on the ground as well. Newberry, 8 penalties for 75 yards. Time of possession, 29-14. And 0 for 2 on fourth downs and 2 for 12 on third down conversions.
Here's an interesting scenario. I noticed Newberry went immediately to the locker room, which is something they don't do. A lot of family and friends gather
You're right.
and greet the team after the game, but they went immediately to the locker room, and now they have come back out.
Yeah, some are coming back.
To gather with their family and friends. So apparently that was the plan. Go into the locker room and then come back out. So that's what.
Are they going to come to watch the fireworks, maybe?
Maybe that's probably what it is. Maybe that's what it is, because we are going to have a big fireworks display here in just a minute. Let me get to some of the individual numbers here. Kevin Leyland, big night for him, 27 carries, a net 104 yards and a touchdown. Newberry's leading rusher, Ja'Cory Martin, 13 carries, 109 net yards and a touchdown. Dwayne Wright, 10 carries, 50 yards and a touchdown. Guess who the leading passer was for Newberry? Actually, Ja'Cory Martin, 3 of 7 for 39 yards. Reed Sharpie, before he went down, 6 of 10 for 28 yards. And Rico Dorsey was the leading receiver for the Wolves, 3 catches, 23 yards and a score. Keith Desishore had 3 catches for 17 yards. Tommy Washington, 1 for 14. And Tyleek Mathis with 1 for 10 yards on the night. Burke Nettles, 7 punts, 34.1 yard average, along of 49, 2 inside the 20. If you look at the tackles, Charles Smith, Chucky Roach, Elijah Vereen, and Jalen Stratford each had 6 total tackles on the night.
Yep, and Chucky led with unassisted tackles, along with Jalen Stratford.
Dustin,
so they were busy.
Dustin Noller, the quarterback for Limestone, 14 of 20, 1 interception, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. And that's one of your big differences in the ballgame.
Yeah, and the Newberry defense actually controlled the ground game for the most part. They only ran at Limestone 150 yards. Newberry outrushed them. But where this game turned was those big, long passes over the top, 3 times, 290 passing yards to our 67.
All right, we're going to take a 1-minute break and then Coach Knight will join us here on the postgame show when we come back in a minute.
Founders Federal Credit Union proudly supports Newberry College athletics. There is no better way to kick off your financial goals than becoming a member of Founders Federal Credit Union. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com. That's relaxjoinfounders.com today to apply for membership. Relax and go Wolves. Newberry County Memorial Hospital, a 5-star recipient for total knee replacement 4 years in a row. 5-star recipient for total hip replacement for 7 years in a row. And a 5-star recipient for hip fracture treatment for 11 years in a row. The award-winning Newberry County Memorial Hospital, offering exceptional services close to home.
All right, here we are back at Setzer Field. The lights are off on the field because we're about to get a big fireworks display. But Coach Todd Knight joins us here on the program. Coach, Al said it pretty well, as you just said. Over the top, they got us a few times.
Yeah, Jimmy, I think the fireworks display started during the game. And that was the deep ball that Limestone kept throwing. And we didn't have an answer for it, to be quite honest with you. We got a senior out there at the corner spot, and he's just getting run by over and over and over. And I had to put a redshirt freshman over there on the sidelines, and he did a much better job. And a sophomore on this side, and they hung on through the end of the game. I thought defensively we stopped the run well enough, and it's that old saying, every week it's pretty much the same message. If you don't give the deep one up, you don't give a cheap one up over the top, you got a shot to win.
Right.
So if you take back 2 or 3 plays, you got a shot. But, we just couldn't hold it back tonight. We couldn't stop the deep ball.
Yeah, they rushed for 150 yards on 40 carries. You rushed for 190 on 42, but now they had 290 yards through the air. And unlike Newberry, we only had 67, but you did have some quarterback issues.
Oh, God, we went from Reed, who started the season as the second-string quarterback. First-string quarterback's on the sidelines with his jersey,
right?
No pads. Second-string quarterback is on crutches now. We brought the third-string quarterback in. He was struggling. We down to the fourth-string quarterback, who that's the most snaps at quarterback he's took in probably a year or better. So I got to give Corey, a ton of credit. Just moving to a completely different position, just on a snap of the fingers, and for what he did, I'm proud of the kid. He gave a great effort.
He actually led us in rushing with 13 carries, 109 net yards, and a touchdown, and he was the 3 of 7 through the air for 39 yards. And he did a really, really nice job.
He gave a great effort, Jimmy. When we were struggling and we were looking for answers, he gave us a great change-up. Held the ball 8 o'clock, kept the defense off the field. And, it looks like to finish the season, we're going to have to go to this type of philosophy.
Mm-hmm. So you don't know what the situation is at this point, I'm sure.
I don't. Reed's on crutches. So I don't really know anything. And tomorrow after the training room, we got practice tomorrow at 3 o'clock because we have to take the day off on National Election Day on Tuesday. So we got to go right back out there tomorrow at 3 o'clock and let's go on and start preparing for Wingate.
And you just push everything back a day.
Yeah, we'll go. Tomorrow is basically our Monday. Monday will be Tuesday. We'll take Tuesday off and then jump right back on the schedule on Wednesday.
All right, so you go to Wingate. Wingate did beat Lenore Rhine today.
And, and that was part of the plan. Big picture, looking at this thing, going, okay, we got a shot right here. We control our own destiny. Wingate beats them, and we felt like Wingate's hot. And that's tough for us coming up right now. But we felt like they could beat LR, and that would give us a chance at a 3-way tie. But we didn't take care of business tonight.
All right, well, you live to play again at Wingate next week, and then we're back here apparently to wrap up the season the following week.
And we'll find out, I guess after we play Wingate, who will play here to end the season.
Right, because if for some reason that Emory and Henry is going to a championship game, he would not play then.
That's right.
Or
and
vice versa.
I don't know if they won today or not.
I don't remember. Al had those scores. Did Emory and Henry win? Not sure. Don't know.
So, if they're not in the championship game, they'll come here and we'll end
Right.
it. But if they going into this week, everybody felt like they were going to win the mountain.
Right.
So they've got to finish up strong, and who knows who will play if that happens.
Great crowd here. Just
Jimmy,
for homecoming.
unbelievable homecoming. It's always like this at Newberry. You know, people love it, and I just hate that we didn't play as well as we needed to tonight.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Coach Todd Knight with us on the postgame show. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this 1-minute timeout.
Newberry Hospital's Newberry Medical Center of Newberry College is open and offering exceptional, conveniently located health care with a personal touch. Minor illnesses and injuries, medical exams, chronic care management, physicals and immunizations. Now accepting new patients, and same-day appointments are available. Call us at 803-945-4050. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at 1910A College Street, Newberry. Your local power through the City of Newberry Utilities Department is power that gives back.